Welcome to the Next Dimension Podcast, your portal to an extended reality. Every week we talk about the hottest topics in XR and let you join the discussion live on MRTV. And now, get ready for another exciting episode coming up.
Hi and welcome to Season 3, Episode 20 of the Next Dimension Podcast. Your podcast is all about VR, AR, and mixed reality. And today is a super special episode. Not because of the Apple headset, no, because we're here with Artur from Somnium Space. Artur, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for inviting me and having us. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have a great show. And also here with us, Tetiana, how are you doing today?
You know, there used to be a time where you said the show was special because I was on it.
Yeah,
Oh my God! Please, can you reroll?
We
I
have
feel
to-
bad.
we
Can
have
you
to-
reroll, please?
We have to
Please.
re-roll the whole
Times
show.
change, I see.
And the most special person in the whole VR is Tetiana. Of course. Tetiana, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be on this show. You know, I say no to many things these days
Of course.
because I'm almost about to go off the grid, but I would not have missed this podcast for anything.
Right. For all the people who are just listening to the show and who don't know about Tetiana's circumstances, very soon there's going to be a new VR fan on this planet Earth, most probably. Right? So yes.
New VR user.
Finally. One more Somnium Space user, perhaps. Potential.
Who knows what's going to happen by the time it's old enough to wear VR? Is crazy.
Yeah,
It's
VR
crazy
is
to think about it.
VR is crazy. Yeah, amazing that you're here on the show today, Tetiana. Yeah, and also with me, Sebastian, founder of MRTV. And wow, I'm super looking forward to the show, not just because I get to speak to Artur and Tetiana, but of course, yes, this is the show that we've all been waiting for. The Apple VR headset, or they don't even call it a VR headset, right? The Apple device this year has been announced, the Apple Vision Pro. And it's set to probably, put so many people into a VR headset. Suddenly, most probably, it's going to be very cool to put on a headset that costs $3,500, by the way. We are going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the device itself. We're going to talk about what kind of impact it is going to have on this industry that we love so much. And also, we're going to talk about Artur's headset, the Somnium VR1, and how he feels as somebody who's making a headset who's like a competitor actually to the Apple Vision Pro, how he feels about this headset. And I simply believe this is going to be a great show. If you don't know yet about the Next Dimension podcast, well, very soon you will. And this show is all about VR, AR, and everything in between. This happens nearly every Saturday when I'm not somewhere in the world doing other things. And this is not only live streamed every Saturday here on MRTV, this is also an audio podcast. So if you want to listen to this while you're working, that's a good idea, by the way, then you can do so, and you can find us everywhere where you can listen to podcasts. And if you love this show, why don't you give it a 5-star rating on iTunes or on Spotify or anywhere where you can rate us. That would be really great. And by the way, for all the people who are watching this live right now, hello there. Hello, Sparky, Sven, RG, Disco VR. No, that's Tetiana. I was just reading. Yeah. Why don't you share this URL so more people can watch this live? Because I'm so sure this is going to
share in our Discord as well.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. Share this right now. Exactly. So more people can watch us live. That would be incredible. This is going to be a great show. Oh, yes.
So, about VR, AR, and apparently spatial computing.
Spatial computing. Yeah. By the way, in 2023, now the new buzzword is not metaverse anymore. The metaverse is now spatial computing, right? So all the people who said metaverse, now it's spatial computing, thanks to Apple again. So yeah, Artur, you're running a really huge spatial computing platform, right? With Somnium.
Decentralized spatial computing, I must say. Okay, it's a decentralized spatial computing. Yes, we're
All
now
right.
suddenly running a spatial computing company,
Yeah, spatial
and
computing company.
I had to change
Exactly.
my business cards and everything. But
Yeah, me too.
no, I mean, look, the metaverse word has been abused so much in the last 2 years that it really feels bad. Because all these scammers and all these people who didn't even realize what the metaverse is and everything else, they
Nobody
just started
knew
to
what the
use this to
metaverse
be.
is.
Yeah, I mean, the buzzword, it
Only
became a
you.
buzzword
don't
of
know.
this nonsense people. And then people suddenly on LinkedIn became chief metaverse officers. And I was just
Right.
looking at this. I was getting sicker and sicker every day
Yeah.
because literally nobody, like 99% of those people didn't even understand what they're talking about. So
Yep.
whether it's a spatial computing platform or metaverse or social VR company, whatever, I don't care. I just care about the whole thing.
Yeah.
To build it and to make it work, and how it's called, you can call it whatever you want. The important part is that it works,
Right, exactly. So for all the people who are watching this or listen to this and who don't know who Artur is the CEO of Somnium Space, which is yeah, what is it? No. It's a metaverse. No, it's a social VR platform where in VR you can meet other people, you can build your own world, and you can do lots of things, right? You can even watch the show probably on the virtual tablet
Easily.
if you wanted to.
Yep.
And yeah, you can even record whole movies like we did with the German television, where we recorded like a
Oh my
whole
God.
TV show in it.
Oh, we could talk about that too. That was amazing.
That was truly special.
You can have presidential candidates having their live press conference for the whole country from VR. That happened as well in Somnium. So you can do a lot of things in Somnium, to be honest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also you are working on your first hardware, on your first VR headset, the Somnium VR1. Show it into the camera, please.
Okay, wait.
Blur.
I put Starbucks on the right. They're not sponsors. Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
This is on the latest design. On our blog post, you can see the later one. This is the previous iteration, but it's very close to what it will be. So you have the anchor points on the top and on the bottom and on the sides and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of things happening here.
Okay, so in the beginning of the show, we always ask the people who are on the show, yeah, what are you currently working on? Like, how does your normal work week look like? So Artur, how was your last week? What are you busy with? I know that you're never bored, right? You're working on so many things at the same time. So, but how does the normal work day look like of somebody who is working on a social VR platform, metaverse, hardware, metaverse, who's also working on a VR headset, and who's also like having some other side project. Like I know you're also working on a blockchain based Twitter, yeah, because you're so bored in any ways, right? Authenticity. It's so hard to say this.
Authenticity. Okay.
Authenticity.
Let's
Oh my
not mix
God.
up too many
I'm
things.
German. It's very complicated. Authenticity.
Yeah. So I think, look, for me, we have every day starts with getting kids to school. Very important. Okay. And then I come to the office and I do some conf calls with the teams, and then we have in the afternoon we have a daily catch up with our teams who are working on the social platform. Depending on the day of the week, I also go to the VR engineers offices where we have a broad team meetings about the headsets. I do meet up with our industrial designer. And with several different teams regarding the headset. I mean, if I would divide my time between the things I do, I would say it's right now 60% hardware.
Oh, really?
Maybe like 55% a headset, because right now it's a very intense moment for us for the VR1. We're getting to the production. Some parts of the headset are entering the production. So it's like 65% is hardware. Like 30% is platform, like Somnium Space software platform itself, because we're also anticipating a big update on the platform, and we'll be releasing some blog posts on that next week. And then 5% is authenticity.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. We have a great team on authenticity. I'm just giving the directions and they're executing, but most of the time is Somnium Space, and right now it's hardware.
All right. Incredible. So, how can I imagine was it like to design a VR headset? How did you start? Just tell me a bit more about the process. I know at one point you told me, Sebastian, I am going to make a VR headset. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm looking forward to it. But tell me, how did you start? What kind of team did you need to form? And just tell us in like 2 minutes about the process of the very beginning until like a prototype of the headset now lying next to you on the desktop.
Yeah, so it's the idea of making a headset was quite a long time ago already, and it came not out of the blue. I mean, it came because I kind of saw that the market is being, first of all, it's getting closed more and more. So the big companies are trying to make their own ecosystems more closed, and we have just a couple of those companies out there. And I also saw that there is a we can offer something interesting and new on the market, which nobody else offers, because we kind of go into this enthusiast part, and we can afford to do decisions which mainstream companies cannot just do because of different reasons. Some are financials, and some are strategic. And once I knew that I want to make an open source headset, and it's as open headset as possible. Because I know VR engineers guys for a long time, we have invested into them. So was one of the reasons why we invested into them, apart from them being an amazing company doing amazing stuff. And once we invested, we kind of, I've talked to Marek, the CEO of VR engineers, and our visions are very much aligned in many things, in majority of things, and that's how we started to work on that. And then you need to have a team. You need to have a team of industrial designers, of electrical engineers, of optical engineers, of software engineers. And there's so much things which go into developing actually a headset. Some of them, like many of them I anticipated because I worked in hardware a little bit before. But some I didn't know. But it's good because we just went all in and started working on it. And then once you start working on it, there was no question, not a single moment in time where I would say okay, let's cancel or something. Never. I knew it will happen. I knew that I will be pushing as much as possible until the headset is out there, and I can't believe that we're 2023 already and the headset is coming out this year. So
okay,
what a ride! And still a lot of hard month ahead of us, because entering production is always a super complicated and intense moment.
Of course.
But because we're producing it here in Czech Republic, it makes it a little bit easier, because I can visit the factory, I can go there, I can talk to people, I can actually see people who will be actually assembling the headset,
that is
talk
so
about
crazy.
the process, change the process and stuff like that. So that's great, but also makes our life and my life not easy because it's a lot of work.
Right. That is so noteworthy, in my opinion, that the whole headset is completely produced in Europe, right? So
It's
yeah,
the first consumer headset, I think, which produced fully in Europe.
Yeah, when you told me that, I was shocked actually, because it is just so normal to have everything being produced in China, right? For all the obvious reasons, right? Like manpower is not so expensive, all the knowledge is there already for producing this kind of stuff. So
what about Lynx? Is Lynx also produced in China?
No, in Taiwan.
I don't. Yeah, exactly. I don't know whether I'm allowed to tell, but Lynx is developed and designed in France, but it's being produced in Taiwan, and they're working with a great company there. We are on the other side. We are produced, designed, developed, and manufactured in Europe. So everything is happening actually in Czech Republic.
This is truly noteworthy and very exciting. Yeah, we'll talk more. We'll talk much more about your headset later in the show. Now, let's talk about Tetiana. So, how were your last weeks? What have you been up to?
I've been trying to survive.
Okay, that's good already. Good.
There's been so much happening in the field, and my life is getting busier and busier, like day by day. And while I'll still normally, if it was a quiet time in the VR industry, I probably would have taken a break, earlier. So I would start kind of relaxing a little bit sooner than I will this time around. But it's like they do it on purpose, like the Quest 3 announcement, the Apple Vision Pro, all these gaming showcases from PlayStation, from Meta. I can't catch a break.
But
So
PlayStation
I've
1
been
sucked.
yes, but I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
had to
that's
cover it.
okay.
So
Yeah.
I had
Okay,
to make
good.
time.
Yeah,
I had
right.
to make time for it. And then the Meta one was pretty great, at least in my opinion. So
Yeah, it was good.
I've been really, really busy, like probably way busier than I should have been in my condition. But I think that after this Apple announcement, I'm ready to start taking it slower. Still,
Yeah,
like
you have
quite
time
excited to
until
be here.
January until it comes out.
I'll be back before that.
Yeah, okay, it's
But
good.
yeah, basically, I was just really busy on my channel, just trying to keep up with everything that's been going on top of my work and everything. I'm still working at SideQuest. There's some exciting stuff happens there too, and just like wrapping up a few things before I start this new chapter. So yeah, it's been a really busy time, and I know that it has been quite busy for other people who attended that conference in California, like yourself. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't even imagine. There were even more things to do for me that I just wasn't physically able to. So it's just such a
Right.
crazy time for VR industry right now, and it just so happens that I have to be on top of it. But yeah, it's been exciting. We certainly we'll talk about a lot of those things in this episode.
Great. Yeah, okay, thanks. It's so good to see you on the show. Exactly.
Yeah, and
Perfect.
tell us about you.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to you in a while. I want to know what you've been busy with.
Oh, wow.
I
Yeah. I was in California. I was in California
Yeah.
to check out the AWE. Not only to check out, so MRTV is the official YouTube media partner of AWE. So we're the
Congrats.
official, thanks. We're the official
Huge
channel
congrats.
to
Yeah.
cover AWE, and that is what we were doing. And the first time that I was there, not alone, but with my team member Marco. Greetings go out to Marco. He's an amazing guy, and we've been there and we tried to cover as much as we could, right? So we've made like 30 videos or so about the show.
I watched all of them, man.
Yeah.
All of them.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's crazy. We've been just making video after video, and we could have done 30 more if the time allowed. There was so much good stuff. It was such a good AWE. So in my opinion, not just because MRTV is the official media partner of AWE, in my opinion, this is the best show of our industry. Truly, you truly meet all the people that you want to meet. Fantastic people, our community, right? Like Alex is here in the chat, and Skiva and Eric, and so many amazing people out there. You meet all the fantastic people who are building stuff, who are working on stuff. Then you have amazing speakers, yes, the CEOs of all these companies like XReal and so on. And yeah, it's good. It's really, really good. You see the latest technology, and I love hardware, right? So it's always fantastic to see the latest lens systems like Hypervision, right? Like Artur, like they are your partners. You invested in them. Into them.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hypervision was fantastic, and so other lenses, other great stuff. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely love these events, even though they are it's like super exhausting. It's like one of the most exhausting things that you can do is go on this kind of event. And it's even more exhausting if you have to cover it all, yeah, in the best
Yeah.
way. But like the goal of MRTV is to make people feel as if they were there. We just go to the show floor and we talk to the people. We try to show it off as good as we can. And
When stereoscopic VR videos, Sebastian? Come on.
what?
For the subscribers, for Patreons or someone, stereoscopic VR videos from the shows.
Yeah. We're going to do
Can't
that.
wait.
Yeah, probably have to run around these shows with a Vision Pro next time with a 3D camera. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what we did, and I'm very happy about our output. I believe we did a good job, so that was good. And then, and then we did a crazy thing. So the show was over, and we had like 24 hours, like a whole day, or a bit more. Like probably we had like 30 hours before our flight back to Germany was. Like me and Marco. What did we do? We rented a Tesla, and we drove all the way from San Francisco to Las Vegas. Not to Las Vegas, no, to Los Angeles.
Because if you drill to
On
Las
a
Vegas, you will
Tesla.
never be back in Germany.
yeah, you're right. I will get stuck there. Yeah, so it was the first time for me to drive a Tesla. I was super excited about it. And then we were driving at the coast, at the West Coast. Right, so it was super beautiful, the most beautiful sceneries that you can imagine, and we enjoyed it. We had the typical road trip. It was
That's
beautiful.
amazing.
It was so incredibly beautiful, but it was crazy because like after half of the ride, suddenly the Highway 1 was closed, and we had to go all the way back and take another one. So from San Francisco to Los Angeles, it took us 15 hours.
You picked probably the worst car for
wow.
long trips.
Yeah,
though,
exactly.
Because Teslas are amazing. I actually got one recently,
I
but
love
they're
it.
not good for long trips.
Yeah, it was okay. It worked. It worked really well
Cheap,
with
though.
those superchargers,
Mhm.
but it was always like it calculated like very not conservative. Like it was like with the last percent we arrived there at the supercharger and like
Oh my god.
God, thanks. Yeah.
You're very risky. You would be
Yeah.
stuck there. And
So then we arrived at Los Angeles at 3 a.m. in the night, and we had like a super expensive Airbnb because we wanted to have the perfect view over Los Angeles, the one that you know from La La Land, from these movies, right? And we had it, but we only had it for 15 minutes. Then we slept for 3 hours, and then and then we drove 8 hours back and catched our flight to Germany. Yeah, so it was crazy, but we loved it. Yeah, and now I'm back. That was my week. Yeah,
Wow.
exciting
Not bad.
stuff. Exciting
Hard
stuff.
to beat, to be honest.
that was
Hard
just
to
1
beat.
week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. What?
Yeah,
That
that was
felt
crazy.
like you spent a month there.
Yeah,
So much
right.
to do.
Before we were in San Francisco for 2 nights and checked out like Alcatraz, the prison, and the Golden Gate. Yeah, we did lots of things in 1 week. It was very compressed, very intense. So yeah, loved it. Loved to be in the States.
Awesome.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was what I was doing. It was pretty good. All right, so now we've talked about our lives, and now let's get to business here. Let's talk about, of course, this year. Finally,
man.
finally it happened. We were all talking about this device for years. We were thinking what it would be like. We were hoping that they would show it, and now finally it has happened. One more thing. And when Tim Cook gave his speech at WWDC, or how's it called? WW
Yeah,
something.
WWDC.
DC. Yeah, right. When he gave his speech and when he said like, and you know what? We had a great show, but now there's one more thing. You could really see in his face, in my opinion, like how excited he was about it. Like how you could see, wow, this is history in the making right now. He was waiting for this moment his whole
Guy.
tenure at Apple, in my opinion. This is his moment. You know, he was always like, okay, the guy who's now in the big shoe steps of Jobs, right? Of Steve Jobs, right? Steve Jobs obviously had his big one more thing moment with the iPhone and so on and so forth. But now it was what Tim Cook has been working towards all his tenure at Apple, and you could tell in his facial expressions how important that was for him. Would you agree with that? before we get to the headset, right?
that one more thing that seemed like an kind of like, okay, after show lasted for 50 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The one more thing.
He was
But yeah,
nearly
certainly.
crying. It was crazy. right?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it was like an iPhone moment or like, I don't know, a
Yeah,
Macintosh moment, just something,
it
I
was.
don't
I
know.
was
I
getting
mean,
worried because we had a party, viewing party in the office, and then we were like, it's 2 hours, and then we learned all about the hiking features in Apple Watch, even though it's already there for a
Like,
long
oh,
time. And then
and
we're like,
stickers. Don't forget
it's
about
already
the
2 hours.
stickers.
It cannot last for 2.5, right? It's too long. And then I was getting nervous, like, are they going to do it? But yes, they should probably.
yeah, they must,
And
right?
then when
Yeah.
Tim, and I agree, Tim Cook, like you can feel that he said like one more thing. I think he meant like it was a special moment for him, even though it
Yeah.
was
It was.
pre-recorded, but he still wanted to make sure that it feels like he felt special. I'm pretty sure he felt very special
Yeah.
saying this.
Right.
I knew it was going to happen. I mean, they were kind of teasing it as the greatest WWDC like
No,
ever.
of
I don't
course,
know.
of course. But I was like,
was.
like in the back of your mind, something might have happened in the last moment or something, and
Yeah.
and I was like, it's like what? It's 2 hours already. 2 hours,
Yeah,
10
it's
minutes.
Yeah.
it's
Where
definitely the
where is it?
longest.
Where is it? Where is it? Oh
It's
my
the
goodness!
longest
It
one
was.
yet. Yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah. So I wanted to live stream it. I was fresh out of the plane, completely crazy because of the crazy week, and I wanted to live stream it. And then okay, but the whole stream got shut down. Like every YouTuber who tried to stream it, they shut it down. And I thought like, oh, it's so sad, right? Because like we're the ones who would make the best advertisement or who would like tell the world more about this, but yeah, they didn't want it.
I think
Anyways,
maybe they wanted everyone to watch their stream.
yeah,
Then
of course.
they didn't want. But those who make regular videos about Apple products say that it's pretty common
Yeah,
for
that's what I
Apple to
also
be
heard.
so strict
Exactly.
about their
when
products.
when
So
when Meta released Quest, we were streaming it live. We actually were watching it live in Somnium, but streaming it out onto our YouTube channel, and we got strike
Oh, you got a
directly.
strike even.
And
Oh,
they didn't take
no.
it back. I don't think they take it back. They're taking it
Oh,
back. So
that's bad.
yeah.
That's really bad. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't get a strike. I only got a warning because my channel was clean before. So, yeah. But anyways, I still told them, hey guys, that shouldn't be like this. I shouldn't even get a warning, in my opinion. It's okay that I cannot show it, but warning, yeah. Anyways, let's start to talk about the device. Let's start to talk about the Vision Pro. I'm sure that the listeners of this podcast and everyone knows already, right? So I'm not going to go into detail now. When I summarize it, we will talk about all the parts now during the show. What I need to
my
tell
God.
you, yes, this is the Vision Pro. It's going to cost $3,500. It's going to come out in the US first and to other countries later. It is not a VR headset. It is, but they never said it's a VR headset. Actually, they did talk about augmented reality, and what they talked about is spatial computing. So this is the first device that basically shows off Apple's vision for our computing future. That's how they envision us to use computers in the future. Not anymore with a phone, not anymore with a tablet, and even not anymore with a MacBook. In the future, this headset should be the first step for us to replace all these devices, and we should only wear the Vision Pro. Probably not not in this iteration, but that's the vision in the future. That's what I got from this from that show. And I want your opinion as well for that. But let me first talk a bit more about the headset so that people who have never heard about it will understand what's going on. So why augmented reality? Well, the headset has lots of sensors. And with these sensors, it is like finding out about your environment, your reality. And even though this is a VR headset, what it's doing, it's going to pass through the reality that the camera see into virtual reality. So you can see your reality. That's called pass-through. That's something that other headsets also have. Like even the Quest 2 has it in black and white. Then we have the Quest Pro, which has that in color, but not really beautiful, honestly speaking. And also other headsets have this kind of functionality. Pico 4, yeah, and other headsets as well, right? But here for the Vision Pro, it is supposed to be extremely fantastic. There's that pass-through. And well, then when you see your reality, you can put virtual things into your reality. What they showed very often were like virtual screens where you can watch movies, virtual screens where you can play your 2D games, right? And virtual screens where you can actually work. where you could have your virtual screen from your Mac playing, but also you can also have completely virtual experiences, not only 2D. You can also just have normal virtual reality with those environments, and on top of the headset there is a digital crown that you can where you can change how much of your reality you want to see and how much should be virtual. So in my opinion, that is a pretty interesting thought. Yeah, $3,500. Yeah, and yeah, we're supposed to replace our screens, right? Our
Or
monitors,
to or to
or two screens,
complement or to
or to
complement it,
complement them.
right?
Exactly, exactly.
Because it's still Apple's ecosystem.
Of
So
course.
whatever products you have, which is how good, what a good timing for you, Sebastian, to have bought your first ever Mac.
Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Not
I'm
that
happy
that
about
it's
this, and
coming.
you know what? I will, because of this device, I will also buy the next iPhone. We will talk about this more. Yeah. So they want us to replace. They want us to use this for apps to replace our desktop monitors with this, so we can use apps like with their own app store and also some iPad apps. This is like one use case. Then another use case they talked about is entertainment. So it's the ultimate theater, right? So you can make up this huge screen in front of you and watch movies. This is another use case. Then also, yeah, you can watch photos and videos, and you can make videos and photos with a 3D camera. So Apple said this is their first 3D camera ever, and I'm pretty sure that it's not going to be the last. I'm pretty sure on the next iPhone there will be a 3D camera, but let's talk about this in a moment as well. And here, interestingly, connection. It's about how you would interact with your friends, how you would call them, right? In video calls now with tiles which are life sized and which are spatially in your room. Very interesting. That's another use case. So we're going to talk about all these use cases and what you think about them. But before we do that, first of all, I simply want to get an overall impression. How did you feel after you watched the keynote, Tetiana? What were your thoughts? Like, how did you feel?
Um, okay, I felt very overwhelmed, I think. I mean, in a way, there were many things that I expected, but at the same time, when you're expecting something for so long and it finally happens, I think you can't believe it. Like the first couple of seconds, right? So my first impression was wow. Like I was really wowed by this headset, but I think it was because Apple is good at like creating this wow factor, and I haven't had enough time to just process everything they're saying. The way
It
they
was tough, yeah.
presented it, the way they presented it was very, very, very impressive. Like they're really good at making this eye candy looking presentation. So everything they said was like, oh, this is cool, this is great, this is amazing. But I'm like, I was making notes, and then I was thinking, okay, I will
Me
need to
too.
I
I
will
was
need to
making notes.
take
Oh, it can do that
yes.
as well.
I don't
Yes.
even know. I don't even know how you were going to live stream it. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to live stream it. I'm going to be taking notes because I
if
need to
people
think.
would have seen me when that happened live, they was the best show for sure.
For me, it was the other way. I can be quite boring when I'm watching something that I'm very interested in, because I'm like, my face like doesn't change. I was just looking at it,
My face
absorbing it
changed.
all. I saw some of your live streams. I know
Yeah.
you're very expressive. I'm pretty
Yes.
expressive too, but I know I wasn't streaming, so I was 100% focused on like
Okay.
just absorbing it all. So I guess my first impressions were, the wow factor really got me, but I tweeted right after that saying that this is too much. I need to process this.
Okay.
I'm gonna say very little until I pull my thoughts and I actually have the time, like the cold head, to analyze everything. And then I put up a video yesterday about it. But
Okay, cool. Haven't
yeah,
watched it yet.
I'll be happy to share
Okay,
more
perfect,
detailed thoughts.
perfect. So before we get into more depth of this, I just wanted to ask you, Tetiana. So your expectations before that happened, you must have had some expectations
Yep.
for the Apple headset. Were those expectations met, or were they
Yes.
overpassed? Or tell us what you think.
I think they were. It's exactly the headset. Like the use case for this headset is pretty much exactly what I thought it would be. It's not a gaming headset,
Yeah.
and they focused on quite of a narrow set of functionalities that would
Okay.
take advantage of their Apple's ecosystem and make
Right.
it an important, maybe even an integral part of that ecosystem. Because this headset is pretty much it becomes the center, the central device that connects all other devices. I think the only one they haven't mentioned is Apple Watch, but they mentioned literally all
They
other
will also
devices they
bring this
have.
into it for sure, for some
I'm
haptic
sure, but
feedback or whatever.
yeah,
It's gonna be good. I
but
need to
they
buy this as well now.
it's pretty good. But yeah, so they focused on those, those use cases that were surrounding productivity and some kind of entertainment. They weren't trying to dive too deep into the areas they are not known for being, masters of, like gaming, for example. Everybody
Right.
knows that Apple is not really a platform for gaming, and they spoke very little about it. But then at the same time, their ecosystem, their UX, UI, those are their strong suits, and they were like killing
Yeah.
it. They were killing it with everything that, starting with, like those little like icons and responsiveness that they were describing, ending with um, FaceTiming and using neural network to create avatars. Like some of the things really surprised me. So yeah, I really liked how they stayed focused on those kind of the strongest things that Apple is known for, and they kept capitalizing on those. And I think that's what created the wow factor for everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Oh wow, that's going to be very exciting. Okay, Artur, I want to hear your thoughts. So, how did you feel after, or during, and after watching the presentation?
So I felt really excited that day, and like upcoming days, but that day I was not able to wait until. First of all, we had great pizzas and stuff and great parties, so that's one thing.
That is good. That goes together very well.
Yeah, of course, of course. And then I had quite high expectations. I wrote a blog post 2 or 3 weeks before the announcement. After we tried the Nubia pad and we had a 3D call, I had a little bit of epiphany of how I think Apple could kind of shape the headset and how it could revolutionize. So what could be the killer feature? And I had pretty high expectations about the headset. And I can say they quite shattered them, like in a good way. They overcome the expectations, which rarely happens to me, especially if we talk about VR. Like it's hard to, you can have some imagination, but the way they shattered it was not in a way that they kind of brought some wow features and hyped it up. They did it in such professional way by showing the hardware synthesis with the software, where they convinced me. And I think that's the most important part. They convinced me, and they convinced many professionals in the industry, because many of them tried the headset on, in WWDC. And that's amazing to me. I was not expecting that. So that's where the big surprise came. Obviously, I had all those overwhelming feelings of not believing that that's happening. And it's a huge day. It's a huge day for the whole industry. And us being part of that industry, made us, suddenly we probably won't be those geeks who are doing something which nobody talks about and nobody ever knows about. But within the next 5 years, it will become more mainstream. So that was a really special moment, and I was happy to see that they're bringing a lot of tech which we all knew before, but in a much more polished way. To me, I think we're going to be discussing each use case separately, right?
Yeah, we will, yes.
There are some use cases which stand out to me, and they're important to me. But overall, I mean, I'm still hyped, and I cannot believe it's just 1 week. I feel like it's already 1 year after they released the headset, and it was just 1 week, not even 1 week. So yeah, pretty exciting times. Pretty exciting times.
Super nice.
I wanted to add to that what you said. They are doing some things that maybe have already been done before, but they are going to be doing them in a completely different way, in a better way. And I think that is what a lot of people in this industry don't completely comprehend,
Yeah.
because there are many things that Vision Pro can do that Quest 2 can do. Like, you can pull up a web browser, you can watch movies on the big screen, you can open your emails, but will you actually do that? Like, does anybody do that? I don't, and I never will. I will never be using my Quest 2 or even Quest Pro probably for any of the work reasons, because it's just not convenient.
Right.
And I'm
the
not talking about the
pass-through is
comfort.
also not good enough if you really
And I'm not
want
talking
to
about
see something.
Yes, yeah, right. So it's not even about the comfort of using the headset itself, which is a completely different conversation on its own. I'm just talking about convenience.
Yeah, right.
All these headsets, all these standalone headsets, they work on Android architecture. So they all have the same limitations of building this.
And chipsets.
And
They have
chipsets.
same
chipsets.
chips.
How can you even compare it to a
Impossible.
company that has their own hardware
Yeah,
and
exactly.
their own software, or everything is seamlessly integrated, and it just becomes easy and you want to use it? And I
point.
think that is going to make the biggest difference. It's going to do the same things that we're already familiar with. They are not inventing.
Yeah, for us
spaceship.
VR enthusiasts, we know that you could watch movies and play on a big screen, but the general public, they didn't know. They never had any contact with them, right?
Hundreds
Just
of millions
gamers.
of people woke up and they realized there is some AR, spatial computing, something you can see in the screen, which I cannot see in real life. Nobody, like, majority didn't know.
The majority had no idea about it.
Yeah.
And there was
right.
There was also what I was hoping, what Apple can achieve, that they can bring this to the mainstream, and they will. So let me also share with you my thoughts when I was watching that. So I had very high hopes for the show. I simply hoped exactly this, that they would bring it to the mainstream, that they would make it cool to wear a headset, and that they would show the world about this technology. And oh boy, did they do that. I also thought that this would perfectly integrate into their ecosystem, and that probably this would be about virtual screens, right? That perfectly you can see your MacBook screen on this thing, and so on and so forth. And then I watched the thing, and unfortunately, I couldn't live stream it, because you would enjoy seeing me reacting to this first. You know, I should have just recorded myself. I absolutely think they nailed it. They so nailed every single point. I was watching it and I thought, like, yes, how amazing, how great is that? You know, that you only have to look at your MacBook and the thing will appear, the virtual screen. It's perfectly integrated in ways that I even didn't imagine they would do it. It is great. And they came up with some extra stuff that simply blew me away. And we will talk about it more. Like, but let me tell you which part where I thought, okay, are you kidding me? The part where they introduced their own avatar system, the persona.
Yes.
Right? Where the guy simply is scanning his face with the device, and boom, he is a persona that really good avatar.
I thought we were years away from that.
Yeah,
I thought we were years away, because I saw this existing.
Meta showed this as some kind of research thing that they will sometime come to us, right? And now we all have to live with that stupid comic book avatars. No, for Apple, it is already a product that you can buy next year. And the great thing is, I am not an Apple fanboy.
Same here.
You will be.
I'm using an Android phone. I'm using PC. Actually, I use a MacBook Air now since a while, and I love it. Right? But I was never. I'm not this typical Apple fanboy who is going to.
Because you don't live in the US. You guys don't live in the US. It's very hard. It's very hard not to be a fanboy when you are in here.
Yeah, right. But in Germany, we also have lots of Apple fanboys, for sure. No worries. We are really very similar, right? Also,
they're all over the world. Right? They're all over the world.
All over the world they are. And I get them now. I get them. Life is too short not to use an Apple product for some things.
No,
wow, you put it on
I have to say, like, 1 year ago, I made a decision. I'm a hardcore Android fanboy. You know, like not a fanboy, but I'm an Android user. I've used Samsung Galaxy Notes phones since the release in 2010. Every single Note I had, and I still have the Fold phone. You know, with the foldable screen. Amazing device, by the way.
Yeah.
But 1 year ago, in anticipation of this moment, I said to myself, look, I think I need to get into the Apple ecosystem again back. I didn't own any of the products, but I bought myself an iPhone, MacBook, and AirPods Pro. And I started to force myself to use it. Like I still use like one time per week for some tasks, like notes and some things. But I'm happy that I did it because I understand the ecosystem better. There are some things which are great, but there are some things which Android does better.
Yeah,
I have
for
both.
sure. For sure.
But now, of course, I'll be moving towards the iOS and Apple ecosystem more because the device is so great. I mean, the Vision Pro.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So that's going to be exciting. So what I also loved about this keynote is they absolutely showed us their vision for that next computing platform. That is truly what they believe is going to be how we are using computers in the future. And what is like the stark difference as compared to like Mark Zuckerberg's keynote with the metaverse like 2 years ago? There was some batshit crazy stuff, which is like probably 50 years away, where we all live in the metaverse and do everything in the metaverse, right? This was much more practical. This showed us, okay, you can work You can work on several screens. Makes sense, right? It's something that actual people really are going to do next year. Next year, it is like very close, right?
Good point. Yeah.
You can speak with your friends like spatially like this, and even when you wear the thing, you have this perfect avatar, right? And you have this huge screen where you can watch your movies, like real things that real people will do and that real people can relate to, even though they are not VR enthusiasts. So I believe lots of people who have never heard about VR before, or who have seen some funny people wear it and play games, Beat Saber and stuff, they now think, hey, I could also use it, even though I don't want to play Beat Saber. I can use it for watching movies on a huge screen. It looks cool. I can use it to work on my desktop with 3 screens. I want to try that. It is way more relatable than the metaverse. Would you agree with that?
Actually, that's a good point, because now that I think about it, when there was that big metaverse presentation, it kind of felt like they were shoving the metaverse in our faces.
Exactly.
Like, they're really,
and we couldn't
really
imposing
it. But everything was so new, and they were at a disadvantage because they didn't already have that ecosystem in place that Apple has. And yes, Apple has the advantage of already have this big base of fanboys that already know how well it works. So all they have to do is just say, we can make it better by simply, putting you in there. And they didn't overwhelm and scare people with
those
VR
exactly
experiences.
It's just normal stuff.
Cause some cyber sickness too, right? I think that they really, if they're smart, and I think they're really smart, they prioritize comfort. Because that's what I was talking about earlier. Nobody will be using it for work if they don't want to, if it's not comfortable. So comfort, just being in that space, is paramount. And I think that meant sacrificing fully immersive VR gaming for now. Maybe that's why they didn't even use the word VR, because VR has this connotation of sickness and I tried VR 7 years ago. It was terrible.
Yeah,
and they didn't even use it.
That's a great point. That's a great point. They're not making a VR headset. It is a VR headset, but you know what it is? I can show you on the website. It's the beginning of the era of spatial computing. This is the beginning of the era of spatial computing. And you know what? I truly, truly believe they are nailing it with this. They're going to nail it. And that is truly the beginning of that era. So what we've been doing until now, yes, we've used VR headsets. I did it. I have quite some VR headsets. I have quite some VR headsets.
How does it feel?
It's just crazy. It's pretty amazing.
Did you try the roller coaster?
The roller coaster.
Oh man,
I'm so happy. Obviously, we love it, right? We know the use cases. We were gaming, and some of us are in VR worlds, like Artur sometimes, right? But it's not really. We've been using it for some things, for certain special things, but we didn't really see. Probably we did, but there was no overarching concept where we would see that as the next era of spatial computing. So this is what Apple is giving us here. And the question or the topic of this today's podcast is this the iPhone moment for XR? And I want to know your opinion about it. But you know what? Let me tell you mine here. Honestly, I truly believe, yes, this is the iPhone moment for this industry. Because like the iPhone, what was so special about it? It was truly, it felt like they are bringing us into this area of mobile computing, right? With mobile phones. There were other smartphones before, just like there are VR headsets there before. But it couldn't really still not reach the mass market with these others. And then the iPhone was there, and wow, suddenly very soon everyone had a smartphone, right? Many people had an iPhone, and then many people also later had other phones, right? And then Google did a great job of catching up to it. But first, there was the iPhone, right? And I truly believe it's going to be similar here as well, even though I haven't tried it yet. Obviously, we all have to see how good it really is, right? We don't know that yet. I can just assume because
I mean, we know a little bit. We know because people tried it.
You're right. You're right.
People tried it.
I was so happy that Ben was there from Road to VR.
Yeah,
I can relate to his reviews, right? Because whenever he reviews a headset, I think yes, that's exactly what I also think. So him saying this is great, this is the best that he's ever seen, other than gaming. Okay, this is pretty amazing, right?
Pretty much everyone
everyone was pretty.
I was very impressed by such an overwhelming positive feedback. Unless everybody was just starstruck and couldn't think straight.
No, I don't think so. I think they meant it. I think they meant it.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I also think that it's way more than just a release of a new product, like an ordinary product launch. It's like, it's such a leap, like it's a completely transformative leap into, something that will possibly reshape the fabric of the way we think about XR starting now.
Yeah.
So I do think that we are living through a historic moment, because that's the first launch of a brand new line of product from Apple that we've seen in decades. Yeah, decades.
Yeah. And really, Apple is the only company who can bring it all together because they own all the hardware, right? Where they can do that suddenly, or you can use, use it to watch Mac to your Mac screen and so on. Yeah,
I would go.
They're the only ones who can do it.
Yeah, I would go one step further. I would not even say that this was just the iPhone moment for VR industry. I would say actually it's the beginning of much bigger leap in how humanity operates, because it's not only going to be relating to us working on PC screens and sitting at home and stuff. What Apple didn't talk about, and I think they definitely mean to have this use case, is using those headsets outside as well, or some future iterations of those headsets.
Yes,
First of all, I'm 100% certain that this headset, which they introduced today, will perfectly work outside and perfectly track itself outside. Like Lynx R1 tracks itself outside super well, and it has much less computational power than Apple has, and much less sensors on board. So using this headset outside will be a blast. There's a lot of ARKit apps which are already available today, and I think that's another big use case. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think humanity is moving towards that spatial existence, like spatial computing existence, and this is the first step towards that. So yeah, it's a huge moment. It's a huge moment for not just for the VR fans and us VR enthusiasts. It's a huge moment for the way how we operate with machines in general. So yeah, I see someone said that my microphone.
I just wanted to say, like, I do hear myself double.
Okay, so I'll just reload because I think this microphone is not picking up. So I'll try to reload and I'll be back in a sec.
Okay.
Yep.
You'll be back.
I'll be back.
Yeah. Okay. So all of us feel like this was a very special moment, which is pretty noteworthy. And they are, in my opinion, they are truly the only company who can pull this off, because they do have this ecosystem of computing hardware that they can perfectly incorporate in this new headset.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame to see so many opinions out there, especially from people who have some experience with VR, just completely bashing it because it's
Really?
not a
Who?
gaming headset. Well, because it's
Okay.
not a gaming headset,
That's
and
okay.
all they see is VR goggles that can project a screen in front of you.
Okay.
So when you simplify it like that, it erases all of these fine-tuned details that we're talking about. Talking about a $3,500 goggles that all they can do is project screens in front of you
Oh no.
is
Obviously,
such a simplistic way of looking at
that
it.
is obviously exactly too simplistic, and yeah. Anyways, but you know what? I think it's great that it's not made for gaming, right? Because there are other headsets that are made for gaming, and okay, where are we with VR? Not really further. We need to reach the other people, all the others whose main use case is not gaming. And that's what I think is so great about this headset. Also, other people who are not about gaming, who are not about Beat Saber, they will feel like, hey, probably I should try it. Did you see that that cool keynote where they have this huge virtual screens to watch something? Yeah, it's so cool that exactly this is not appealing to gamers. We have amazing gaming headsets. And don't get me wrong, I'm super looking forward to the Quest 3. I believe it's going to be a freaking amazing headset that I will love for gaming and probably even for some mixed reality, right? So I think we're in a beautiful position. We have Apple, they're going to get the mainstream people who are not about gaming. We have Meta, who are focusing more on gaming now. We have
I
the
it,
Somnium VR1.
but honestly, I think that this presentation was great news from Meta. Like, I think it was amazing for Meta, even though people think that, oh, they're unhappy. I think especially for the Quest 3, this was just a
Yeah.
jackpot because there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people who will never be able to afford a Vision Pro.
Right.
But this Apple's event had a reach that Meta probably has never had such a reach that this one presentation had. So
You're
now there
right.
are millions of people around the world who probably start taking VR seriously, and they will not be able to afford this expensive headset. However, they are looking for alternatives. So
You're so
the
right.
timing for Quest 3 is impeccable. Like, it's so great.
I
pretty
have to
good.
partly disagree.
Because-
I have to partly
Okay,
disagree.
tell us.
But only partly, because I think what happens is, yes, Quest 3 probably, okay. Quest 3, by the way, is my microphone okay right now? Can
Yeah,
hear me
you
well?
sound good. Yeah.
Okay. So I think Quest 3 will be obviously better than Quest 2. Okay. I hope they will. I hope they will put better panels, screens than on Quest Pro, because while the
They
lenses
will.
on Quest
They
Pro
will.
were better, the panels were lower res, and
Agreed. It doesn't look so
It
good.
just was not a good.
It just looks
experience.
okay. Yeah.
So while I believe that yes, Quest 3 will sell at some numbers, but what Apple did is Apple showed that what could be done, and how well it could be done, even from those limited reviews people had. Those professionals in the market like Ben and others who actually did a lot of VR, they reviewed that headset and said, yeah, it's really, really good. It's better than we always had before. I think Quest 3 would have to be, the life cycle of Quest 3 has just been shortened by Apple, because Apple will elevate the prices of the headsets, and Apple showed how you should do. If you do eye tracking, that's how you should do eye tracking. If you do hand
Yeah.
tracking, that's how you should do hand tracking. If you do the pass-through, that's how you do pass-through. And then other headset manufacturers, even though they will be 3-5 times cheaper than the Apple headset, people will always be comparing them to this. And what it will force them to do, what Meta will be forced to do, they will have to be forced to bring those lab technologies, which they were working on for 6 years and 5 years, and they were like working on this avatars. They will be forced to bring those technologies back into the headsets faster, and that will make their headsets more expensive as well. So get ready, everybody. The headsets will become more expensive overall, not cheaper, and they will have to put better tech in them. This is 100% happening. So while Quest 3 will sell, I believe, yes, and it's a better device than Quest 2, I think it's already partly outdated. By the time it will come out, it will be outdated, because honestly speaking, Pico 4, like this is Pico 4 Pro. Pico 4 Pro has eye tracking and face tracking. It has amazing lenses. It has great resolution. It's a very light headset. It can do almost everything Quest 3 can do already today. So
Yeah.
I'm questioning
And
myself.
more
Quest-
and more
and
because
more.
there's
And
no
Quest 3
no
can
eye tracking is a problem.
exactly.
It's limiting
So
very much, right?
that's what I'm saying. Quest 3, while it's being an okay device, but it's already kind of outdated given the market competition. And Apple is putting so much pressure now on the quality because people will not, I can be here sitting and saying, yes, as Mark, I can be saying, yeah, but we are 5 times cheaper. And people say, what? But the art tracking is working so much better. And, their hand tracking is so much better. So they will be under pressure. So it's great for us as consumers because Meta will be under pressure.
Finally, they have real competition.
Yeah, but
Competition that's surpassing them, as it seems, right? So that is great. That is really great news for us as the consumers because yes, I also think that Meta is now so much under pressure. They have to, get better.
Of course.
just 2 thoughts about that. So first thought is that I think the price is always going to be a temporary issue because price inevitably drops all the time. Technology gets better, it gets cheaper. It's only a matter of time. But second, if we are comparing the Quest 3 release and Vision Pro, many of the technologies that they are utilizing and all those patents that they made for Vision Pro, they aren't even needed for a gaming kind of a budget, right? Quote unquote headset that is a Quest because it's not a spatial computer. You're not going to be using it for productivity. So many of those specific technologies that would make your work cohesive and coherent with your ecosystem of laptops and MacBooks and iPhones is just not the right use case for that. The point I was making is that Apple opened up, they opened the eyes of many of the people who maybe completely had no idea about how far along VR technology has come in general. So this might even help them discover what's out there. It's different, it's maybe not as good, or maybe it's just good in a completely different way. I see myself using both Quest 3 and Vision Pro for totally different purposes. If I can't afford Vision Pro, I would still like to have Quest 3. So it was such a
But only
huge
you as a
marketing
gamer.
push.
You as a gamer. How about the normal people? The normal people will not just get the Quest 3, I think.
May I paint you a picture of how I see the VR market right now?
Please.
Just a very quick one. So Apple came out and said, that's how you do hardware in 2023. That's how you do all these features and the pass-through and hand tracking, eye tracking, and just bring it all together. That's what Apple did. So they put the bar on the hardware so much. Now, what is the biggest wild card or joker in the hands of Meta right now? It's their content, but it runs out very quickly because Pico is gaining on them so fast, and Pico is getting the games into their headset ecosystem very fast. So from one side they have Apple, who has innovated on many things and brought a lot of cool technologies into their headset in the right way. On the other side they have Pico, which again this depends how they will continue. But if they will continue the same way and they will continue innovating on the headset, they're gaining up on them pretty quickly in terms of the library. And in my opinion, the library of Meta is not that huge and that important. There are some important titles, but they're not that fundamental, right? And for example, they did this game showcase recently. And honestly, overall, it was underwhelming. People expected more.
Some great things were there, though.
Some great things were there, but also some big flops were there because they showed the Asgard 2, which looked worse than the PC VR version in the past. So people were expecting Grand Theft Auto and other things, and they just didn't show them. And that's another thing where Meta has to really push now hardcorely to actually get even further away from the competition to have those exclusives. But I don't think they can at this moment. I don't know why they're not doing it. So it's a very interesting mix for consumers because consumers will be the winners.
For us, it's great now. For us, it's great. For us, it's great. But about Meta, actually right now they are completely ruling the gaming market for VR, right? It's the VR gaming console, the Quest. It's the place to go if you want to get your VR game on. But is that what they want to do? Do they want to become the PlayStation of VR, basically, for gaming? I don't think so. I also think that they want to be where Apple wants to be. They also want to own spatial computing. It's the next computing platform. So Meta or Facebook, they have overslept the mobile age, right? So Meta, they were absolutely dependent on Apple and Google when it came to their Facebook mobile app, right? And it was a bad position to be in. And they want to be what Apple is showing us now how it works. So yes, they are great in gaming, but that's not where they want to go. So they are in a big problem. They are in not a great spot, I believe. Would you agree with me, Artur? Seems like
I
yes.
agree 100%. And also, don't forget, when you said that price will eventually drop, I want to, again, that's just my opinion from what I see in hardware and stuff, but don't get excited to get cheaper headsets in the near future. That's not going to happen. The headset prices will go up, even of the Quests and Meta headsets and Pico headsets. Every manufacturer will put the price up. Why? Because they will be forced to put better stuff into the headsets, and because Meta and substantially Pico will run out of capabilities of subsidizing the headsets. They're all subsidizing their headsets right now. And because the competition will heat up,
They do.
the subsidizing power will go down. Their revenues will go down. They'll have to really start making money on the hardware, or at least not losing money on the hardware. Right now, they're losing what, $250 per headset, from what the last report said. The Pico as well. They will not be able to afford it to do it in the long run. They can afford to do it when they're alone on the market. The moment the competition starts come in and the competition starts to earn money, like Apple will not lose money on the hardware. They're not stupid. So they will put the pressure on them, and they'll have to start increasing the prices. So price, while they will probably be less expensive than Apple, but they'll have to move the prices up, and that will be kind of shocker for the consumers. It's a wake-up call, because consumers will say, one second, how did you sell me Quest 3 for $300 or $500, but suddenly Quest 4 will be, or Quest Pro will be again $1,500 or $2,000? Like, what's happening here? You know what I mean? So I think there will be a lot of earthquakes in the industry in the next 1.5 years, which is good for consumers. It's great.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Go ahead.
you can go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to say one thing. PSVR 2 at $550 seems pretty cheap right now, right? Like in a couple of months ago, we had this kind of thought like, oh, PSVR 2, oh, it's so expensive. But no, actually, it is not so expensive anymore, right?
Yeah. Since you started talking about the price, how about I try to roll back the conversation back to Vision Pro, because that is something that I guess if we were to start picking on things that could be an issue for Apple. And pretty much what is the main issue with Apple adoption all over the world? What makes it so hard to adopt? It's because once an Apple user, always an Apple user. You have to commit to this ecosystem, and not really not all people are ready to do that, because that's a big investment. An average product released by Apple is much more expensive than the same product that works on an Android system. And of course, it's hard to explain the benefits of having that ecosystem to someone who's never had it. Like, for example, I had conversations with my brother, and I'm like, this is just going to change your life. And he's like, but how? I'm using this phone. It does the same thing that your phone. Is it really, it's really hard to communicate that difference. And with a price of $304.99 for a headset, it is a standalone headset, so at least it doesn't require an iPhone to work, right? But we all know that it's going to work so much better if you have that ecosystem in place. An iPhone, a Mac. You already said, Sebastian, that you're going to buy an iPhone.
Yes.
So this is the success of this headset will depend on whether they'll be able to convince the people outside of the Apple ecosystem bubble to invest a lot of money to convert.
I don't think so.
Into that.
But
honestly, I don't think so, because I don't think in this very beginning, this can be a very big success only with the Apple fanboys. I really believe so. And I also think
in the beginning,
yes, in the beginning. And also I believe that this first iteration actually isn't meant now to be the mainstream device that everyone is supposed to have. Also because of the price. They also know themselves that they're pricing out a lot of people. But what they want to do here, they simply wanted to show us their vision of spatial computing. And therefore they didn't look let me finish. They didn't look at the price, right? They simply wanted to show us, hey, we believe this is spatial computing. And therefore, they simply put the best stuff into it. And the best stuff right now has this huge price of 3,500. So, right? So, this is their non-compromise version of spatial computer in 2023, and probably it's going to be amazing and blow the people away. Probably it's going to even blow us away, even though we've seen everything in XR, right? So this is just to show this is what our vision is. Yes, it's expensive, but it will go down in price in the future. Right? This is not always going to cost 3,500, right? Probably they're going to make a cheaper version in 2 years, right? Which probably costs 2,500. And then year over year, the prices, it will get closer to the most expensive version of the iPhone Pro Max or whatever it's called. And at that point in time, this device is going to be so sexy and can replace so many of your other devices that you don't have to think, hey, am I going to buy the most expensive iPhone or will I buy the Vision Pro? Probably they are very similar in price, but you can replace your monitors. You can even replace your MacBook Pro because this has already an M3, M4 in it, right? And then it's a no-brainer, and then it will be mainstream, even at prices which will be $2,000.
It's going to take a long time to convince people to go into this paradigm shift of not using your laptop or your iPhone. Like, would you really use a headset that to check your emails, then having a phone in your pocket?
I would wear it outside. And trust me, I would wear it outside.
It looks like glasses.
Yeah, it will. It will. Obviously, this is the first iteration, right?
I don't think it doesn't. It doesn't even need to be that small. Honestly, it doesn't even need to be that small. Like, if Pico had a stereoscopic better path through, I can easily wear Pico outside. It's no problem. Yeah, I'll look like crazy. Like I wear sometimes for the testing Lynx R1 outside. No problem at all. It's a very sleek, small headset. You can flip it up if you need to. The magic of Apple is that, first of all, it has great path through and great tracking. Second of all, there's so many Apple devices out there, so they have better understanding of spatial environment than any other company in the world. And number three, they have this outside screen. As stupid as people think it is, it's actually a genius thing. It's a genius thing. And it will make people seem less awkward and social acceptable to wear these things in a social environment.
While talking to other people in real life.
This is exactly the same as I remember the days. I mean, I'm not that old. I really, trust me, I'm not that old. But I remember the days where it was really awkward to wear headphones, in-ear headphones outside when people were near you. People were looking at you like you're a crazy moron wearing and talking to something. And look now, everyone wears AirPods and everybody uses headphones. And why? Because they became much better. And for example, AirPods, again, as not a fanboy of Apple as I am, AirPods have a great pass-through audio where you can speak to people while wearing the headphones, and it as if you don't have them at all. So I think that's what headset will do. And then you will be, in 5-7 years, it will be absolutely normal to kind of have a walk on the street and have such a headset on the head, or maybe a little bit slimmer, but still have an Apple headset on you, and just have this enhanced reality with all those ARKit apps running on that headset and checking your emails while you're walking. Of course, because who wants to walk like this every day? This is not a normal position of human. We're not meant to be like that. So this is ending within next 10 years, in my opinion.
I agree. I think this is truly a great innovation that you can see the eyes. It's really because you don't look at the device. You will look at the eyes. Right.
And how crazy is it that it's not actually your eyes, it's your persona's eyes?
That's Apple. That's Apple. That's
not
these. They spent on this thing alone 1 year and the whole department just doing this, and it made the headset much more expensive and complicated, but it's well worth it. Many people, 90% of people, is laughing at it And I say, no, guys, you
No,
don't
no, no.
understand it. This is one of the most important features of this headset. One of the
Yeah,
most important features.
Right.
it's crazy. I agree that they probably spend that much, if not more, to make it look realistic, because it changes when you're turning your head, right? The perspective, and they spend a lot of time figuring out the perspective of the eyes to make it look as close to your face as possible. So
It's
this is
incredible.
gonna be so cool. I don't know. I wanted to talk more about. Can we talk more about this neural network and the avatar system and
Sure, we
stuff?
will. We will get to that. You know what? Let's now really get into the headset itself and the
Oh,
functions that it has and what it wants to do. And we will talk about, do we believe it can pull it off, or do we believe no? First of all, let's talk a bit about the fact that it doesn't have controllers, right? We were always used to having controllers in our hands. So this, you're going to use your eyes. You look at stuff, and then the eye tracking is going to choose, and you're going to use your hands to activate the things that you're looking at, and you're going to use your voice. So, what are your thoughts about that, Tetiana? That does not have controllers.
This is probably one of the riskiest things about this headset. And it's one of the things that I cannot wait to try, because again, that's one of those things that they didn't invent it. There is already plenty of headsets out there that use eye tracking, uh, hand tracking, and there's even some voice recognition as well. But never ever have I tried a headset in which I would prefer hand tracking to using a controller. I would always rather use a controller than not use anything at all. And because just, as of now, we were living thinking that this technology is just not here yet, at least not in the consumer device. And them actually releasing a final product that only uses these features as primarily control features is a very big deal.
Mhm.
And it kind of makes me excited, because I know they wouldn't have released something like that wouldn't respond perfectly to your gestures. And yeah, I think they had like the entire, one of the articles showed the entire, like, a graph of different gestures that you can do that the headset will respond to your actions. But I think, I mean, for me, from my position right now, it looks like a risk, because
Okay.
I've never had an experience of this flawless control using hand tracking, eye tracking, and voice.
Okay.
So if they really nailed it down, I will be just over the moon. Like, I don't know, I will be so happy, because I
Okay.
like
Okay.
the idea of it, but it's hard for me to imagine it working so flawlessly.
You will
Okay.
be,
What are your
because
thoughts? Yeah, Arthur, go ahead.
when I read the review of Ben from Road to VR and many others, and like, for example, people who understand VR, like for example MKBHD, right? He also went and tried it, and he tried all of the headsets. He got like Quest Pro demo from Mark Zuckerberg, and he uses Quest and he knows the headsets and stuff. And their reaction of, like, Ben, I think he said it works so well that only few times when it didn't work during the first 30 minutes of me trying it, it felt like, wait a second, why didn't it work? It just works so well. It's MKBG call it magical, because, and he said, I hate to say it, it's like, I'd really hate to say things like that, but it's magical because it works so well. And
Oh,
then we learned from this scientist who worked in Apple on this feature, where they say, hey, we actually use neural network to predict when you will click with your fingers, because before you do any action, your pupils actually go bigger, and we already preload the content before you even click with your fingers. That's why it's so good. And because, yeah, we also always try those hand tracking from Quest and other apps. Nothing worked so well, right? Because nothing was so well optimized to work with the software and hardware. And I think that's the magic, again, of Apple. I hate to say it, but that's the magic of Apple, doing it
okay.
right
That's
and doing it in a
insane.
way that people will actually use it, and it will feel natural. It will feel like, yeah, that's how it should have worked. Again, I think controllers are needed for gaming and for
Okay.
other use cases, because it's just better to feel the haptics, the
Okay.
vibration, and other senses. But for just normal work and navigating the UI, I think this will be perfect.
All right. So let me tell you what I think. So, Tetiana, you said like it's a risk not to use controllers. In my opinion, it is exactly the opposite. Sorry, today we're a bit on different opinions for these kind of things. I think it would have been a risk to come up with controllers because this is not made for gamers. This is made for normal people. They hope that probably my mom is going to be able to use that kind of thing. And I said it already on my channel. Whenever I put a headset on my mom or on people who are not used to VR, first of all, they're completely overwhelmed to be in VR for the first time. Like, wow, the sensory overload is like completely crazy. And then I put controllers in the hand with a grip button, with a trigger button, with an analog thumbstick, with 2 buttons and a menu button. That is too much for them. They don't know what to do with it. It's too complicated. It's complete sensory overload, right? So for this, I'm sure it is a much better idea to build this magical, intuitive hand controller thing because that's what people used to, just to use their hands. So
Well,
in
of
my
course it is a
opinion,
better idea.
in my opinion, this is a really, really good idea if it works well, and it seems like
Of
it works
course,
well.
I never said that it's a bad idea. I never
Yeah,
said it's
but
a
I
risky
don't,
idea.
I don't. Yeah,
What I was
okay,
saying is that it's the risky from the technological perspective because we've never seen that level of polish.
work. Yeah,
And
okay,
they
okay.
undertook a challenge that no one really
That's for sure.
has
That's for
mastered.
sure.
So that's the risk,
Okay,
not the
got it.
idea
Yeah,
of not having controllers. I
right.
mean,
Okay,
yeah.
good. Yeah, then we're on the
But
same page because I think it's really,
yeah.
it makes so much sense because this is not
Oh
made
yeah,
for
I want to get rid
gamers,
of those things. Like I don't
right?
want to have them.
And one
I think
one
for
more thing to add.
games, I want them. If I'm using like a virtual gun, I want to have like a controller in my hand, right? I
Sure,
don't
yeah.
want to
Unless you
show
want to
like
play
this.
hand tracking
Yeah,
finger guns.
exactly. So for these like games, yeah, I want controllers. But for the stuff that we're looking at here now, what this thing can do, I think it makes perfect sense.
That's why I'm so excited because I can I'm sorry, just one last thing because you said that it works so great and it just makes me so happy and so excited that it looks like they managed to do something that we've never seen work so smoothly. And I'm if they really did succeed, that I'm glad they took this risk because they were confident enough that they were able to
Pull it off.
to pull it off.
Yeah.
I think 2 things. Guy got in writing that controllers will be optional. I think not in the
Could be.
not in the
They
not
could
in the
do
not in the pro version. I don't think in the first generation they will not do any controllers.
in the future, perhaps.
In the future, probably they will. Of course, Apple wants to sell you controllers for $399. Of course, it's great. Why not? You would buy them. But another thing is, I think I had a discussion like on other stream before, and there was a CEO of Cybershoes, right? And he said, look, in Cybershoes, we it's basically if it works with the gamepad, and we know this headset will work with the gamepad because they showed us someone playing a game with a gamepad on this headset. So any gamepad could be reprogrammed to be the gamepad, but with controllers and stuff. You know what I mean? So there will be
Could be.
accessories coming up,
Yeah.
even like third parties, which will probably work in a certain way for certain use cases.
Right.
I'm not afraid of that. I'm 100%
Probably-
sure.
Probably even when you use the PlayStation controller, they could track that in space, right?
Of
Simply
course, yeah,
with the
there are many
optics,
ways how to do it,
right?
yeah.
So they could still use it somehow to give you like tactile feedback. Who knows? Who knows? And they could come up with optional controllers. Totally agreed.
For $499.
Oh, so cheap! I'm totally gonna buy them.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the Apple magic, right? So yeah, let's talk about their use cases that they show. So the first use case that they show, yes, you can use apps. So they have an app store. They have apps that are made for the system. You can use your 2D apps, probably iPad apps, and you can position those apps in tiles in front of you, spatially, wherever you want. So, for example, this person is using them to replace his desktop monitors, and he simply has lots of tiles there open, and he can work there spatially. And he has this virtual keyboard in front of him. And by the way, I love the fact that you can still use the Bluetooth keyboard and the Bluetooth touchpad, right, in your apps. You can still use them, those real tactile things. I love it. So what are your thoughts? Do you think that this is a use case that can work for people, Tetiana? What do you think?
I think they did a smart thing by showing a very specific tasks that you can do there, not just showing screens, but because that doesn't look as impressive. That doesn't look like something that I would want to do over scrolling through those same apps on my laptop. But what they did show is, I think they were talking specifically about things like video editing. And I know that it's very specific, but it worked for me because I do video editing. And one of the reasons I don't use, that Mac laptop, basically, because it just has one screen. And as great as it is, I have two screens right here, and I wouldn't mind having third. It's just I ran out of room. So I would buy it in a heartbeat. If I got this headset and I have my Mac and I can edit these videos. I have these huge screens and they are amazing 4K quality. That's, showing something specific that you can do better with this headset than you would without it. That's what makes it a perfect use case, and they did it. They were showing quite a few editing tools. I think they were talking about DaVinci Resolve. They were talking about Premiere Pro. They were mentioning a couple else. So they were just focusing on things that would be done much more efficiently with this headset.
Cool. Of course, we also have to see how good is the quality, right, of the screen. Do we want to work in it? Like, I don't want to work in the Quest Pro because the resolution is just bad, right? But yeah, how good is it here? We'll have to see. So, Artur, what are your thoughts about this particular use case? Do you think it can work? Would you work like this?
Yes, but I think that's where also Apple got the first part of the deserved criticism a little bit, that they didn't, like, if you look at this video, they didn't take too much of advantage of the spatial part of the computing, because while spatial computing is amazing, it's the future, it probably is, the 2D screens in a spatial environment is not the future of spatial computing. It's the beginning of it. So
in the keynote, they didn't.
The future web browsers won't be flat screens.
No.
Forget about it. People will start develop browsers and the versions of their web pages for these headsets, where you will open the website and it will be optimized for Vision Pro, and it will just blast on you all this content. And that's where this demo doesn't show it, because they don't have it show it. They could have, by the way, but
no,
they don't
have
it.
No,
but that's where developers will take it, and they will
have
do
it already.
Things for this.
Stop. They have it already built into this. This is, of course, not only that you see 2D screens. This is probably one thing that got criticized, and in my opinion, that is correct. That you have the thought, hey, these are only 2D tiles, right? These are only screens. But no, you can take something from these compatible apps and drag it into 3D space. So let me show you that. Actually, it's here on the website.
Yeah. What I meant is, I understand what you mean. I saw it, and please show it. But what I meant is that your web pages, the thing you will be interacting with. Yeah, that's amazing. Exactly. This is
right.
This is
so
great.
It's not just 2D tiles. You take something out of these 2D tiles and put it in front of you. It's perfect VR.
What I meant is the UI. Like, if you look at the screens, right, those things will be with depth. Though, like, remember the Nubia pad. If you look at the Nubia, the video of any browser or of any web page, it becomes 3D, and that's what you want to see, right? You visit the, I don't know, the New York Times page, and suddenly it's not just the text holding in a space. But it's something jumping out on you, the 3D videos and stuff like that.
Right. But they have it also. Like for example, they showed up with Walt Disney. It's not just like a 2D tile. It's like complete VR.
The Disney stuff, I had goosebumps when I was showing that. When they were showing this.
We're gonna get this. It's just crazy. Yeah. Anyway, so let's see how well this works with actually like working in it. I could imagine this will work. And what is exciting about this, that this is using the M2 chipset. Not only the M2 chipset, which is very capable, as we know, but also like some special other chipset. It's called R1, that gives this a super low latency, right? The video that shows your real reality only has latency of 12 milliseconds. So basically you won't feel latency, which is exactly what you need in a VR headset, so people won't get sick. So that's great. Anyways, what's also exciting about the M2 chipset is obviously that it's compatible with all the apps that we know from our MacBook, right? So that's why, yes, this device might actually completely let me get rid of my MacBook Air in the future. Yeah, because it can run automatically DaVinci Resolve. So the only thing that I will need in the future is the headset and probably my trackpad. And no matter where I am, I can edit my videos on
That's amazing.
three screens because it's compatible with the M2. So
I would travel
yes,
a lot more. I
yeah,
would travel a lot more
exactly,
if I had something
exactly.
like that.
So honestly, if the display is so good that it looks like a screen, like a 4K screen, yes, I truly believe this could be a game changer, and probably I could work in that. So that use case, I believe in it. Yeah. Wow. You will see people
Yeah.
in planes wearing these headsets for sure. Yeah. So let's move on to the next use case then. And entertainment, the ultimate theater, wherever you are. I believe there's no discussion about it, right? I believe we all think that makes sense and they could pull it off. Or not. What do you think?
That's probably one of the
Easiest,
smallest
right?
surprises,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Because that's actually the one thing I guess that we have already been able to see in a pretty high quality. I mean, I'm not sure about 4K, but we've had 1080p, right, with the
Yeah.
Rokit, and even like watching movies. I watched movies on my Quest. I mean, as a use case, it's just something that they will do better
And
because
they will
I mean,
nail it.
it's like, I mean, what, 23 million pixels?
Yeah. Something like this.
4K per eye, and of course matched with that user interface that just makes it so easy to just put on a headset and start watching movies. But it didn't surprise me. It was like, of course
Yeah.
we'll talk about it, but let's talk about something that we didn't know.
Exactly. But they will pull it off. It will probably look and feel like this. You know, yes, there is Unreal, yes, there's Rokit and others, and yes, you can watch movies, right? But is it like this experience
Not
where
even close.
where
Not
the
even
screen
close.
is perfectly
Not even
like
close.
pinpointed in your space and you can walk around it? It will always stay like this, like it looks like here? No.
Not
Like
even
zero.
close.
Not even
Exactly.
close.
And by the way, this 23 million pixels was so Apple thing, because the moment they said 23 million pixels and they didn't say resolution, so we quickly calculated on the napkin how much will be the resolution of their
Yeah.
headset, and then we quickly calculated
Only we
Somnium
nerds
VR1
did
will
it.
have
Only we nerds did it.
17 million pixels.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll definitely do it on Keynote when we introduce like the final Somnium VR1.
You
I was
should.
like, we have done 17 million pixels on the headset, but it's funny. It's
Yeah,
Apple
I think
right.
Tyriel calculated it. Tyriel Wood, he calculated like the difference. I think he made like a comparison
Yeah, he did.
of
I
others.
commented
So
on his tweet as well. Yeah.
yeah, I think that was pretty cool. How, I mean, it does show you, right, how far along this technology has come in such a short time. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Exactly. So I think we all think they will nail this part for sure. It's gonna work just as advertised, and I like it that they also like they are going to dim the rest of your apartment, like the virtual apartment, like when you look through the pass-through, so you can enjoy your theater experience.
And by the way, MKBHD said he tried the basketball game and stuff, and he said it's freaking magical, the sports stuff. And he said I would totally pay up to what $20 per game to just be there. That's a lot. Like if you think
Yeah.
about it, that's their next, like Apple TV plus this will be killer business for them.
Of
Content
course.
will be king.
Suddenly, not only I
Yeah.
have to buy an iPhone and a watch, I also have to buy this Apple TV Plus thing now. It's getting friggin' expensive.
I already have it.
Yeah, okay, good.
So
Yeah.
but you will, and you
Yeah.
will pay for it. You will pay for those concerts where you will feel like you're
Of
really
course.
there for the
Yeah,
first time ever. You
they
will
have-
feel like you're really there.
Of course, they have bought the company which broadcast this stuff, right? I think it's called Next VR or so. This company
Yes.
who so
And honestly, like we have kids, right? And like for us to go to a concert with the kids is an endeavor. You know, it's an endeavor. They're already kind of 7 and 10, but it's still something we need to plan and do and think about it. Like honestly, if I can just put a headset and my wife and we can watch together the concert,
but this is
from
the-
within our home. That's amazing.
But that's the question though. Can you watch this together? Like could you and your wife be on that couch together and you see
would
the
say so.
perfectly synchronized video?
I would say so.
And that's
Hopefully.
insane that people would really think twice and thrice if they are ready to spend that much money for one headset and you have
No,
to
yeah.
buy two.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
but do you and your husband, do both of you have iPhones?
Yes.
You see?
So it's
So
the
so
same.
what's
We
going on?
paid
Of course.
$1,500 for an iPhone
Of
each.
course, of course, in the future, I'm not saying like in this generation you will do it, right? But in
Yeah.
the future, yes, both of you will have a VR headset.
I'm looking forward to the future.
Yeah.
When this decision becomes less difficult.
Yeah.
But of course, we are all early adopters. We will get it to test it. But
Right, right.
it's very exciting to think that this will become mainstream. I have
By
no
the way,
doubt.
I must say, I feel it's so unfair. I know it's not, but somehow it's my feeling that all these tech YouTubers, right, who have never looked at VR, they suddenly all have the chance to try it out, right? And us, like complete VR nerds who have been supporting that VR for years, we have no chance to get access to it, right?
It's all about your community. I mean,
I
if you have
know, I understand.
10.
It makes sense, right? The thing is, our community will buy that anyways, right? They want to get to the mainstream, so I totally understand it. It just feels like,
Your
oh,
efforts will
So
not be forgotten. No, I mean it. Like this is the case.
yeah, sure,
another cool thing that Apple are going to be doing, actually, since you talked about trying it, they will have this in their stores.
sure.
So, although expensive, right? If that YouTuber NKBD, right?
MK,
MKB.
MRTV.
MK
That's MRTV go there.
Marquis. Yeah. But if he said that he tried it, like, right, I tried it and I get it now. Like, I get what this money is, for and how I'm going to be using it. So, of course, it's hard to convince someone to just buy it after watching a trailer or something. But because it's going to be in maybe not in every store, but it's a store nearby, and they can go and check it out, and they will show them the whole Shazam of what this hazard can do. It's probably going to convince quite a lot, just because they'll be able to experience it. And I don't think that you can just go and try Quest Pro anywhere. You can try it in their store
Right. Their one
in
store in
California.
California. The
Yeah,
one store,
that they opened
exactly.
last year. But Apple has a much bigger network of that around the world.
Exactly.
Clark Kent,
Clark Kent.
very smart idea, by the way.
Clark
Very
Kent,
smart.
exactly. Clark Kent says,
The guy
I'm-
knows what he's talking about.
I'm thinking about buying one to keep in the box, never open it as an investment for the future. Like, exactly. Like the first iPhone, unopened iPhone, it goes for thousands of dollars.
30,000 or 50,000 or
So-
something like
so
that.
it's
But
a
it's not
great-
about like
it's a-
even selling it, but it's just like to remember it, to have like
Right.
I have a box of unopened Pebble Watch. I don't know if someone remembers
know.
what Pebble Watch was. They
I-
were
I
the first
remember.
smartwatch with the e-ink displays.
But nobody's going to give you $1,000 for it.
I don't want to sell them. I don't want to
it's-
sell them.
it's
I
for
just want to
you,
have
okay.
them. It's okay.
Okay.
I'm fine just owning them. I don't want to sell them. But I'm just saying, like it's a cool feeling, to have something which had a big impact on the market to have it untouched and unopened. Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah. By the way, thanks Norman Robinson for your super chats here. Yeah, this is going to be super exciting. Wow. So let's talk about the next use case that Apple wants us to use this in. So be in the moment all over again. You can have a look at photos and videos and the panorama pictures that you took with your iPhone. You can stand in that panorama again. Wonderful use case. But even more interestingly, this is the first 3D camera that Apple has ever sold. Yes, the device is a camera by itself. You can take photos and videos with it. And, well, there is a button on the top of the headset which gives you quick access to take a video and a photo in 3D that later in the headset you can have a look at. So, Artur, what are your thoughts about this? Is it something that you believe people are going to use?
Oh man, I've talked to you about this 2 or 3 weeks before the release. So the
Right.
story was like you reviewed the Nubia Pad 3D.
Right, the 3D tablets. Exactly.
I saw in your face that you were blown away,
I was.
and I said to myself, okay, this guy has seen a lot of things. I trust your judgment. If you are so blown away, I have to see it. So I bought one as well, and then we had the 3D call
It
together.
was really, it was pretty hysterical.
I'm still blown away. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
still blown away. Now, the moment I had the 3D call, I sit down and I said, wait a second. Every iPhone has LiDAR already inbuilt and can scan your face properly. When you look at the 3D content on a tablet, it's a window into next reality, but it's a window. It's a small window. If you have a VR headset, that window is much more immersive and much bigger. And these two things connected in my mind, and I wrote this blog post about like why nobody's talking about this potential killer use case for the Apple headset. By the way, that thing was seen by 170,000 people.
Congrats.
That blog post, and I don't know why it went viral on like LinkedIn and stuff. But the thing is, that's the use case I was waiting for. I was so much hoping that they will bring it on, and they overshooted my expectations because they said, we are making this special 3D camera on this headset, which will make those videos, and it will feel like you're you're going to the past. You're recording your memories and you're reliving them again. And moreover, as you said, and we discussed it, next iPhone, I guarantee you, I mean, I can bet money on it. If
me too.
next iPhone 15 will have this capability to have these calls, and suddenly someone having an iPhone having a call with you, you will see them in a full 3D in a VR headset.
Agreed.
Oh my God. Shut up and take my money.
Black
Double
Mirror.
the price, I'll buy it anyway. Like only for
Black
this
Mirror.
one feature. Really.
I also think so. The next iPhone must have like 3D cameras. Tetiana, what are your thoughts about the camera, the 3D camera? And do you think people will really take pictures with it?
No,
Yeah.
the way you talk about it, you make it sound amazing because I haven't tried that tablet, and I know that
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I know that
it's
it's something
amazing.
you have to see.
Do it.
So
It's great.
I think that for now, it's for people who have never experienced it. It's probably just like, okay, it's a gimmick. I don't know if I will use it, but if they buy this headset anyway, they will use it because it's already in it, and then they will see exactly how it's going to impact their lives. And now I'm thinking from the perspective like, I'm gonna have a little baby,
Yeah, right.
and I'm gonna have this headset and I'll start recording these 3D moments, and it's going to be a memory forever. So if it really works like that, it is going to be amazing. For now, for an average consumer, it's probably hard to imagine the real practical side of it because like, okay, so we take pictures with our phones and we can project them on the TV and we can watch them on a big screen, watch your videos that you record, watch the pictures that you take. How often do you actually do that? Like, how often do you watch the pictures that you take and the videos you take on, like, projecting it on your TV and just sit down and watch your videos that you
Seldom,
take?
right? Yeah.
But you will watch them on this thing because they will feel so real. You will. And you will watch the content of other people going around the world and recording this content in 3D. The Instagram will be dead because this will be the new Instagram of people, like this is a spatial Instagram.
So you're talking about content creation. So you're talking about like vlogging and creating like your own library of videos.
Immersive videos.
And uploading them possibly. Or maybe just creating something for your own, photo album or video album that not necessarily for the whole world to see, but just for your own memories. So it sounds pretty amazing. It's just that people will have to see what it looks like before they understand that, okay, this is something I want to do just for my own memories.
People who own that device, they will see it.
Yeah. So I don't think this is don't get me wrong. I think it's going to be a great feature. I don't think it's a feature that's going to sell this headset. I think it's a feature that people will discover once they already bought it for other things.
Right. That sounds sensible. I think that actually in this first generation, probably it will feel a bit strange to bring the device somewhere to make a 3D video, but when it already has this button here where you can quickly take a video and a picture. So for this generation, I think it's going to be strange and people are not going to.
You will do it with the phone. You will do it with the phone.
Right. But what I want, the point that I want to make is that the device will get sleeker and sleeker and sleeker. And at one point, it's going to look like glasses. Okay, not like these glasses. They are very thin, right?
Maybe
but
like those glasses. Who knows?
okay, then
Maybe it's
I
gonna
will
be
be
like
an old man.
contact lenses.
Yeah, right. But once the glasses are more wearable in the public, once it looks more normal, like normal glasses, this is going to be the killer feature to just make videos and pictures like this. I don't even want to get my phone out anymore because I will just be doing like this.
Hold on. But what about the ethical concerns of recording people?
No, that's
It's
fine.
Apple.
Do you remember
It's
this whole
Apple.
conversation we were
because-
talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
when we were talking about Ray-Bans?
Because the Ray-Bans, they kind of were hiding it that you make a video. I was taking pictures of people and they didn't realize it. But here they made it very clear that hey, it will show on the front that you're taking a picture and video. I don't worry about that.
By the way, Guy Godin again is on fire
Guy.
today. He says
Guy.
it will be used for porn, and he's 100% right.
Of course.
No jokes aside, it will be used for that as well. So, yeah, I mean,
you get the POV perspective from it. People are going to wear it while doing interesting things. Oh God, this
And now this stream is demonetized. Congratulations.
That is
Sebastian.
totally fine. I'm just getting excited about the possibilities of this headset. Are you kidding me?
Don't get too excited.
I'm getting really excited now. but yeah. So in my opinion, this will be a great feature when the device gets smaller and more worn in the public. But I think even this will be worn in the public. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
It will
It's
be.
I'm sure it's gonna have a distinct maybe shape or something that people would know that you're wearing Apple glasses. Like it's not just gonna be Ray-Ban glasses.
No,
but these are secret
people-
ones. You can take
People
pictures.
will wear them. Yeah. Okay. So this is also a really interesting feature.
Yeah.
Adult entertainment. Right. Totally forgot about that.
So we were talking about the 3D videos. So I think maybe it kind of connects to those 3D avatars or 3D persona. Can we talk about that?
Oh yeah,
Will?
we're going to get to this now actually.
Oh,
This
is it? Is it
This is
the next
the next use case
and
connection.
one
Yeah.
more thing, if
Yeah.
I can add to the 3D
Sure.
pictures and videos,
Okay, yes.
the memories. Again, Ben from Road to VR, he was writing that when he was testing this video where the kids were blowing the candles on the cake and the birthday party, he said he instantly felt the presence and the emotions. And he said, I've never felt anything like this while not even knowing the
Okay.
people. But I felt the presence. I felt those.
Oh.
That's very. This
Okay,
is very
adult
deep. Like, if you
entertainment will
understand-
not be
again,
bad on this probably.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I mean, I told you, Guy Godin is on fire today, so he was right again. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, this will feel supernatural. Like, this will feel amazing. And Nubia tablet proves that this is just the next generation of this technology in a much more immersive way.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's legit an episode from Black Mirror. I don't know if you watched
Yeah, of course.
that episode. It was literally about recorded memories, except
Right.
that all memories were recorded in that episode, and here we will be able to select. But it's insane. I did not expect it to happen this soon. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, it's crazy. This feels.
You remember those people when Instagram came out and Twitter and others, they were recording every day
Yeah.
of their life, blogging. There will be people who will be recording 24/7 every
Yes.
step of their life, and you'll be able to
Right.
follow them.
It's gonna be crazy.
so-
It's a whole new world of possibilities. It sounds so cheesy, but actually, I truly believe this is going to happen. It's
100% true, yeah.
crazy. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to the next part where it's all about communication. So connection, get on the same page in the same space. So it's about having FaceTime, having a video call with your friends or with your colleagues. Actually, with your working colleagues. There are tiles which are floating in space. If another colleague joins the room, then this person gets another tile, another lifelike sized tile where the person is on. So you can talk to them. And what really blew me away, so I did believe this is cool already, but when they said, hey, the sound of the people will spatially exactly come from these tiles. Okay, mind blown. Makes sense, right? So
Makes sense.
it will feel like they're standing there and the audio comes exactly from their direction. It is these small details where they really blew me away, where every single thing felt so well thought through. Oh my goodness. What are your thoughts about this? Yeah,
I was
Tetiana.
watching this screen, right? Right this moment when she was turning and talking to them. I think that
Yeah.
was the first time they showed it. And it was before they introduced the persona. And all I could think about was, how do they see her? How
Yeah,
does she look?
exactly. I was
How
thinking the
does she
same thing.
look when
Is it
they
just a
look at her?
picture?
Yeah,
Exactly.
because they look real. They're not personas. They're like webcam, Zoom
Right.
conference or
That's what
something.
we think. Yeah.
Is
Who
she
knows?
wearing? Is she supposed to have a camera in front of her? Is there something like, what's going on? I'm like, well, I need to know. And
Exactly.
soon enough, they revealed what she
This.
would look like, what he would look like, and I was just
This
mind
is
blown.
exactly
That was the mind blowing
this is
moment.
where I was just like, okay, shut
Yeah.
the and take my
Yeah,
money.
no.
Are you kidding me? So
Yeah,
this would have
no.
like too bad I couldn't stream this moment. I was going
Oh my
crazy,
God. But
even I was alone. Yeah, here.
just think about it. YouTube will never be the same.
No, this
Like
the whole.
VTubing, all of
Yeah,
that. Like imagine. I mean, okay, there's a little bit, there is a double standard about what men and women supposed to look like on camera, supposedly. If I scan myself and I would be able to make these videos that I'm making, they would save me so much time, like getting ready for camera and stuff like that. That would be an interesting use case too. Would I be able to record myself and make videos of my
of course,
persona
for
instead of
sure, of
me, and
course.
just
I'm
create
so
content
sure.
with that?
Just like you can make
That's
now
amazing.
content with how are they called? Memojis or what? There's also people making content with
Yeah,
it. Yeah, why
but
not?
those are
Also from Apple,
exactly.
right?
But I don't want to look like a
Here I
cartoon. I
would,
want to look like me, and
Yeah, you
it
do now.
looks amazing.
Yeah.
while I'm mind blown by this as well. I was blown away by this thing as well. And I think Apple will iterate very quickly on this avatars, because all the reviewers I watched, like MKBHD and I think Ben mentioned it, and Upload VR as well, everybody said, yeah, the avatars look good, but there is a little bit of uncanny
Okay.
there still. You still feel that it's like
Makes
so.
sense.
What it tells me, they will iterate
Right.
quickly, but definitely better than all this cartoonish beep we already got. We're getting this, like, nobody will want to look as something else, or many, like, majority of people want to
Yeah.
look themselves.
If you talk with
Maybe
your
a little
friends
bit
that know you,
professional setting,
exactly
yeah,
on
or in
VR
a
chat, people
regular.
want to
Correct.
look like I don't know. Like,
Yeah, sure. I mean, in VR, I want to be
Exactly.
anything I want, but that's VR. That's like that's a different worlds of stuff. But in a normal, like, with family, talking with family and
That's
colleagues
right.
and stuff, you want to be
That's
you.
right.
Maybe a little bit enhanced you. It's okay, but maybe dressed to an occasion. Like if it's Halloween, you'll have a little bit some backgrounds or
example.
whatever. But you still want to be you. And I think that's where the big potential lies. And I think for the first generation, from what I heard from those reviewers, it's okay. It works really well, probably as advertised, maybe a little bit worse, but it will iterate very quickly. So that's an amazing
Yeah.
feature.
And
to be
these
honest.
avatars, as you can tell here, also you can use your hands, right? Obviously, because your hands are tracked. Yeah. So this is gonna be a great feature. Also,
Yeah.
what's cool, like when you are in these calls, you can still work together with your colleagues, right? So you can share like an app, the screen of an app, something that obviously we can do in a video chat as well, but you can do this now in a spatial way. Yeah, what are your thoughts about this, Tetiana? Do you think it's useful?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're,
Yeah,
they're
why not,
turning
right?
it into a collaborative tool, right?
Yeah,
Because we're
exactly.
talking about talking to your friends and family, which is great. But if they incorporate like Google Teams, I think was it, or I know for sure it was Zoom.
Zoom for
So
sure.
it's nice that they are not trying to just forcefully move everyone into this
Yeah.
completely new video conferencing place in which everyone must have Vision
Exactly.
Pro.
You can still use
That's
your
yeah,
own
yeah.
things.
That was
Yeah.
the main thing. So yeah, it's amazing that you can still like share the screens and you can see them perfectly well in VR, and they can see you perfectly well on a flat screen. I think this kind of connectivity is very important for this for the adoption of this tech.
That makes sense. Also, I truly think that if I wanted to give a presentation with somebody who is not in the same space, yeah, I would totally use this. Of course, I would open this kind of keynote or browser to show my presentation and have them spatially aware somewhere in the room and give my presentation just way more naturally as if I would do it just in a Zoom call. So
During
yeah.
the Apple presentation, they should have used those personas to present instead
yeah,
of
that
real
would be
people,
cool.
just
That would be
to
cool.
show what it would look like.
How,
I don't think
exactly.
they're that advanced, though. I don't
Not
think
yet.
they're ready.
Exactly. Not yet. But it's still impressive enough that they have these personas. Pretty amazing stuff. So yes, that part was incredible. Yeah, let's talk about one more thing. So everything was really impressive until now. Yeah, and really, it was really impressive. And I
Until
also
one thing.
check this out. How good this looks. Actually, everything is glass and aluminum, and it looks great. But then,
Don't drop.
so I was already like super impressed at this point. But then the kicker came that yes, they really care about, okay, not the operating system, that I don't want to talk about this. I want to talk about privacy. Because that is truly a big issue when there's eye tracking, right? We know like how important it is, eyes in general, and how many data they can rip out of your eye tracking, right? How long do you look at something? Super important for analyzing you and for advertisements. They can totally find out about you, like about more than just what you look at, but how long you look at something and where you look at. They could analyze you, right? You could become the product, right? This is like the huge fear that we have when Meta does this. And now they come along and they say, you know what? We are the privacy company. We've been the privacy company with the iPhone, right? If the US government wants to force us to give them the key for the encrypted data, we're not going to do it. You can try to hack it yourself. And here, I have to scroll down a bit. Here they are the same. When it comes to privacy, we don't blink. And this part, I love it about the tracking, about the,
And what a sentence with eye tracking
this
and
is
we
great.
don't blink.
This is
I mean,
great.
come on.
So this
is
part
genius.
here, eye input, is not shared with Apple. It's not shared with third-party apps or websites. Only your final selections are transmitted when you tap your fingers together. So all the other stuff, like where your eye moves and how long it stays on a certain word or a certain picture, nobody knows.
You gotta love Apple.
Only the final selection is being transmitted.
Yeah.
Boom, in your face, Meta. That's what I can say. Like, okay, here, this is the mic drop for Meta, where they show, okay, Meta, you are probably taking all the information.
And not
right?
only that, exactly. And not only that, people trust
Yeah.
Apple because Apple is not in a business of
That's the
selling
point.
ads. Apple is not making money on selling ads. They're making
I
money
was
on
just
hardware.
gonna say that,
Simple.
and I didn't want to interrupt Sebastian.
Okay,
and
sorry,
you went ahead and interrupted Sebastian. Yes, exactly.
But
You
that's
gotta
the
love
point.
Apple for that. If there is one reason to buy Apple, buy it for their business model. Their
Yeah.
business model is hardware, big effing fat period.
Yeah, and
That's
you know,
all they
and that
do.
is like a no-brainer for me. Even if Meta would make exactly the same device, which is as good and probably like I don't know, 30% cheaper, I would go for the Apple device because I know I am not the product. The product is this thing, and they are not going to check my eyes and where I look at.
I love it.
And here I wanna go one step further because that's what we try to do with VR1 is not only we don't track your eyes because we don't care, but we give you all the information, all the data which is on those sensors and whatever
You can
happens
do whatever
to
you want with it,
on
right?
your computer,
Yeah,
and
that's
you have
great.
access to it, and you can analyze and do whatever
That's
you want
great.
with it. We don't want to know it. It's
Yeah.
your stuff, but use it to the research, to whatever you want. The data will be there. So I'm not sure whether Apple will give the access to the data for the researchers, but we want to give as much data to people who own our headset and just use those data because these are valuable
Of
data.
course,
You
it's-
can
of course.
predict
Anything.
health issues
Yeah.
with eye tracking easily because we can make pictures of your eyes and then analyze them, or you should analyze those pictures because we will not have them. This is the power of decentralized hardware and the privacy. I applaud Apple for doing what they're doing. This is amazing.
This
and I
is
hope
great,
they will
yeah.
give some access to to researchers, or if people will decide to give access to researchers, things like that, because this can bring predictive healthcare would be the next big thing in this industry. You will get analyzed all this like this is nothing in comparison what this headset can collect on you.
Yeah.
Again, and be useful to you. They can
Don't
predict everything, because eyes is the, like we
It's
say,
really
eyes is the mirror of the soul. But
right.
honestly, eyes are also mirror of your health. This is true. And when they will work together with Apple Watch and the headset, they will be able to predict a lot of health issues way ahead. They will happen to you way ahead.
That's
Right.
So that's
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
But don't you think it's crazy? They are literally could be making billions of dollars by selling this data. And
That's
honestly, they could,
it's not.
and
Yeah.
people would still probably buy it. But they don't.
Still.
Like,
Yeah.
do you find it like
No, I don't. I
how
don't find it
crazy?
surprising
It's a
because
big drop. It's a
this
great
this
moment.
is a great moment, and this is who they are, and this is like a big reason for many people to buy the devices just because of this, you know. So yeah, so they are making money because people will buy the more expensive hardware, right? And then they still will make money off the software 30%. So it's a great
Yeah, it's
business model. I
amazing.
love this
My
business
God.
model.
I'm so
I
pumped
love
up
it.
now. Like, I'm
I
super
love it.
excited.
So this is such a huge mic drop. This
Yeah.
moment in the presentation, this was such a big mic drop to Meta. Like here in your face. This is what we believe is about privacy, and so yeah. Wow. Let's see how Meta can counter that. Do you think they're going to also do this with the eye tracking? Will they change now because of this? What are your thoughts? Will they be forced to change this, or will they just make it way cheaper so that people who don't care about this privacy will say, "Oh, you know what? I don't do anything funny. They can look at me." You know?
It's probably going to be that.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, go
Yes.
ahead.
Yes.
No, I mean, honestly, they will never say no to collecting data. That's how
That's
they
what they do,
started.
right?
That's
That's their
what they do.
DNA.
Like you
Exactly.
can't, yeah, like you can't blame some. I mean, no,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say you can't blame because you can't blame them. But I almost said something like it's in their nature. You can blame their nature, but obviously they have control. But they will never say no to
And,
that.
and you know why? It's because of the different business model inherited by the Facebook company. It's how they, like, apart from, let's say, we can call them all evil and stuff, sure, because it's, all ultimate decisions is in their hands. Mark can decide to become better company, and he can, but they don't do it because there's a lot of money tied up, and there's a lot of things which are historically done how they were done. But I think in order to say, hey, we will not collect any data, the transformation of the business model will have to be such a dramatic one that suddenly headsets will not be $400, and they will not be $500, and not even $1,000, and nobody will buy them. Nobody will buy Quest 3 for 1.5K. Like, nobody will want to do that
Nobody
because it's too
bought the Quest
expensive.
Pro. I mean,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
few
but
people bought it.
few people bought it. Not so many people bought Quest Pro, and then it dropped down to $999, right? Because God knows what they do with those data. Who knows? So yeah, I mean, it's a big drop for Apple, and it's a big move. And it just widens the spread between those companies. They will be forced to do something like this? They will be forced to write a lot of good texts about how privacy is the first thing they think about, the same way how they did in Facebook, and all the data they were selling to other companies in Facebook. So the same way probably they will do it in but will it be true? Who knows? And will we trust them? I don't know. I probably not at the moment.
Yeah. So that was truly like a noteworthy thing. Well, I was already blown away by the whole presentation, and then they give me that. I was happy. I was really.
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to this headset and how it will completely change this industry. So I truly believe that we all would agree that yes, this was the iPhone moment for our industry, or not. What do you think, Tatiana?
Yeah. I mean, this is we're living through a pretty much a historic moment in time. I
Right.
think we are very fortunate to live through it. And yeah, it's only the first stride of Apple into this realm of XR, and they're already making the biggest splash that I've ever seen, really, and made so many people excited. Of course, like I've mentioned, that there are simplistic views of certain, users who kind of just looking at the surface. The price, and of course, is still an issue, but we've known probably for 2 years now that this is not going to be targeting all Apple users or all consumers. Even though they call it a consumer device, they do say it's for consumers. It's not for a narrow niche professional users. Honestly,
Right.
something
It's
that
for consumers. It
I
makes
thought
sense.
it would be like Quest Pro for developers, and they did
Oh,
have a section on developers. We didn't talk about it because
yeah.
we're running out of time, but they did talk about the value of this headset for developers and how they will be able to create things with Unity and like all other cool things, like developer opportunities. But they do position it as a consumer first device, which kind of surprised me a bit because
Mhm.
I expected a very like a professional narrow niche test
Development
product.
thing. I got it.
And they just went on and said, you can use it, you can use it, you can use it,
Everyone
everybody
who
can
is ready
use
to
it.
pay 3,500 can use it and should use it, according to
Yeah,
Apple.
I wonder if they changed their model like just halfway through, or if they just,
No, I
or
think
if
they
those
they
rumors
just made
were
it.
not true.
This is simply their next computing platform. Boom, and this is the first version, and it's gonna get better and nicer and cheaper every iteration. But they have to
That's the
start somewhere.
minimum what they're going to accept.
Yeah,
That's a big thing. Apple said this is the minimum quality level
yeah,
we're going to produce ever starting from this moment. And that's already better than anything else in the market.
yeah. That's
That's
crazy.
crazy,
That's really
you know?
crazy. That really is crazy. Yeah, cool. So we're all very excited about the headset, and we also, yeah, obviously we're going to buy it. I have to find a way how to get it early. anyways, we
Already
also,
started a piggy bank.
yeah, exactly.
Already
Yeah,
putting
you
money in
can
the
start
piggy bank.
now. You can start now. So to collect the money, to save the money. We're still here also with Artur, who is making his own headset, the Somnium VR1, and I also want to talk about it. Not for 2 hours now, but I still want to. I still want to understand
Why not?
more what it
Why not?
what it is.
It's just as big of a paradigm shift as Apple.
It's yeah.
We should talk
So
for 2 hours about it.
so I also want to know from you as a developer of an enthusiast headset that is made for VR enthusiasts and VR enthusiast gamers. I believe it's made for. How do you feel about the Apple headset coming out? And yeah, yeah, tell us about the feeling and where does it all come together? You're not threatened by it, right?
Not really, not at all. I'm excited because it's such such different products, and targeting completely different, I would say, audience. And you saw I'm excited about Apple headset a lot, and I think the feeling in our company and in VR Juniors as well were the same because it's a different type of a product, and we're targeting completely different niche of the product. Like our headset is a PC VR wired lighthouse tracked headset with a very high field of view. So one thing, by the way, in Apple headset, which I was from looking at the lenses right away and then getting some intel info from the guys when we calculated like what could be the approximate field of view of the Apple headset, and we came up with a number of around 100. It's like 100 to 105, and it was confirmed by people who tried it. They said it's around
Yeah,
about Quest
like Quest
Pro. It's
Pro.
below
Yeah.
Valve Index, so it is around 100 something, depending on your IPD. That is one thing which I would expect that could have been a bit better in Apple headset. And I understand why they did it the way they did it and why there is a drawback. I understand it technically, but I think that's where a little bit the materials from the keynote, right, from all those renders might feel a little bit different from the reality, because when people will take it, they still feel a bit of tunnel vision. Anyways,
Yeah.
why I'm saying this is
People
because
will be
we're
blown
going
away.
towards, we're trying to bring the best of what's possible today into the PC VR headset market, right? So we couldn't be on a completely different, further away from ourselves, like an Apple and our headset. So not worried, actually excited about Apple coming up with this.
Right. So this is made your Somnium VR1. It's made for PC VR enthusiasts who play PC VR games, right? Like flight simulators and so on and so forth, right?
Researchers, flight simulators, people who use headsets like social VR. I mean, honestly, I use social VR Somnium every day, like for a couple of hours, and eye tracking, peripheral vision is something which and sweet spot, like good lenses, good image quality. It's something I really need and want. I want to have good FOV, and I would anytime if you ask me and you say, hey, you can have 20% better screen and resolution, or you could have 15 degrees wider FOV, I would always go for FOV. Like I would just always go for FOV. Maybe it's me, but I would always go for FOV.
Yeah.
And here we try to bring you amazing FOV of like 120 plus, because depending on the IPD, I'm getting like 126, 128 degrees on that headset in a real measured visible FOV. Like that's amazing. It's a complete different way of how you consume content, especially in a social VR environment. So I think, by the way, if anyone wants to ask some questions on the chat, ask.
Yeah.
I'm not promising that I will answer all of them, but I will try. The price will be definitely lower than Apple headset, so that's a good news. I know people are asking. So
yeah, but now that you mention it, like where are you going to put the price? Like you have like quite serious competition, obviously, from Pimax, right? They would probably do well if they were not Pimax, like but
I will leave it without comment. Okay, I will not react on your comments here.
Okay, but tell me, like where are we looking at for the price? Is it going to be more expensive than the Pimax because we have more FOV than the Pimax Crystal?
I would not tell you. I mean, you can I'll put the poker face here, and I do play poker, so I would put a poker face here, and I would not tell you yet. What I can tell is that people will be positively surprised given the specs of this headset, what we will be asking it for. And by the way, one of the biggest things
it's going to be more than 2,000 euros.
Sorry?
It's going to be more than 2,000 euros.
I will not tell you. And why you bringing this?
I tried to look at your face. I'm trying.
He's playing poker right now.
Look. Where's my?
That's why I made it bigger.
So I think one of the biggest feedbacks we've heard throughout, like we showed the headset and the visual stack, the pass-through cameras and the lenses on CES, and people really liked what they've seen. But one of the feedbacks was of people, they said, look, allow me to buy things I want to buy. So it's amazing that it has a pass-through camera, and it's amazing that it has hand tracking and stuff, but allow me to choose whether I want to have eye tracking in the headset, or maybe I just want great visuals and great FOV, and that's enough for me. And we had to we said, actually, they're right. They're right. People are right. Why would we force something they don't need on people if we can make it even more modular? So that's where we took our time after CES, and we reworked the structure of the headset. And that's why some of the design changes happened, and some of the internal changes happened, where we said, look, we will keep those modules optional. So you will be able to, when ordering headset, you'll be able to say, look, I want a headset with eye tracking only, or even without eye tracking, just a headset, or with pass-through. So you'll be able to choose, and you just pay for things you choose.
So it's like build your own headset.
Yeah,
kind of.
Cool. So I get from it, there's going to be like a cheaper version that does not have hand tracking and pass-through cameras, and only does VR.
Correct.
This is going to be.
This is not a secret. This is exactly like it is. There will be one version which will have nothing except great FOV and great screens. Nothing else.
Can I ask a question? Will you be able to buy extra modules, or is it like a full build? And if you later on change your mind,
whenever you configure the headset, that's the headset you're getting.
The final one.
The only additional model you'll probably be able to do in the future if you buy or let me say, no, but with some exceptions, because as I said, you will be able to add like an external model from ultraleap tracking, because we have these anchor points, right? And we have these anchor points here where you have I don't know if it will be, you have this four, and this is the older design, right? This is not the latest design. The latest design is slimmer, but this is the anchor point. You can unscrew them, and it has USB-C on the bottom as well. So you have this USB-C here. and you can connect like Ultraleap new gen, the second generation of their hand tracking via USB. You can 3D print your holder for it. You can screw that in because those are standard screws, like M5 screws, and that's it. Like you can connect whatever you want. You can connect LiDAR to this headset, no problem.
I'm asking this because a lot of people might not know what they want. I mean, you're probably targeting
Yeah,
people
I
who
will
know
tell them.
exactly what they want, because they are
It
professionals
depends
and
on the
flight
use case.
sims.
Like
They know,
we have a lot of
but
researchers who are coming to us and they're asking for these headsets from universities because they want to use the eye tracking and the open sensors in terms of the raw data. They want to use it for their research. So that's where that's where it's. I think the big interest will be coming as well. But I think it's as modular and as open of headset as it possibly can get from the limitations of the manufacturing we can actually squeeze in. Like I would say it like this: like,
Okay.
there are some limitations we just cannot overcome.
Okay, got it. Got it. So yeah, display. You have 2880 by 2880, very high resolution, QLED mini LED.
17 million pixels.
Okay, it can do
And
90 and 120 hertz. Sounds
was
very much
there
like another headset that
was
we.
there a release of window that you were looking at, or is it still kind of in the works?
We want to ship first units this year. That's what we're targeting at. We'll be having more information coming out within the next month and like 2 months. And then we will have somewhere down the line this year, we're still finalizing the date where we're going to have the Somnium Connect conference as we did in 2021, in the end of 2021. That's where we'll be also showing the headsets. We'll be inviting all of you guys as well. You'll be getting the invitations to come to Prague and be with us for a few days here to try the headset, shoot some content about the headset, and just give your feedback and stuff. So that's going to happen, but we're targeting this year. As I said, like lenses, for example, and some other part of the headset, they already went into mass production. So they're already being produced in Czech Republic.
Oh, nice. So tell us a bit more about the lenses. They look like aspheric lenses, clear lenses, right? They are.
These are clear aspheric lenses. What is special about our lenses is the dual setup lenses. So it's not only one lens per eye, it's two lenses in a special angle combined per eye. Plus with a special angle towards the screen to maximize the FOV.
Okay.
And
that's how you get 120 degrees horizontally, right?
Exactly. So this is aspheric lenses on steroids. And again, people.
That's a good way to describe it.
People like for example, Brad. He tried the. We're showing like the early pre-production prototypes with not final lenses on the CES, and still the visuals were great and people loved them. Every feedback we got were, hey, this looks great, because it does look really cool. So yeah, we're very happy about that, and the final lenses will be even more precise in terms of nanomicrons and how the curvature is done, because every single deviation from the curvature plays a big role in how you perceive the FOV in the image. So yeah, I'm very happy about how the optical system turned out to be.
Nice. Looking forward to try it out. We have a question here from Norman Robinson. Have you and your engineering team considered moving forward sooner with your investment to hypervision optics for higher FOV since the Apple Vision Pro announcement?
I mean, we invested in them before Apple Pro announcement. So when I tried, so it's the guys were known already before, but when I tried the latest prototypes, which you tried, Sebastian,
That's
but I tried them like in like way earlier. It blew my mind. Like honestly,
they're really good.
Yeah,
there was one of the best things that I saw at AWE, the hypervision lenses. It was just incredible to have a human vision FOV, and yeah, it was good. It was not perfect yet, but it was a prototype, right? So yeah,
it's a prototype. Exactly, it's a prototype. But the guys are magicians, and they produce the thinnest pancake lenses with the highest sweet spot on the market.
And with the great FOV, right? With the
Yeah,
because
by
of the
far,
curvature.
like by far.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about the 240 degrees which you tried,
Yeah,
which is
I know.
mind-blowing stuff.
The other one is great too.
The other
Absolutely.
one, it's just the sweet spot is so big. You don't even need to think about, it's just there. And you can do a lot of things with it. So when we tried it and we kind of realized, because we did investment as us, VR Engineers, and Lynx. With 3 companies did a co-investment. And I joined the board of Hypervision. And when we tried this and we sat down and we said, look, one thing which is the most important in the headset, to be honest, is optics. Like if you don't have a good optics, you don't have a headset. And it will become more important in the future to have thinner and better optics and higher field of views and clearer images. No doubt about that. This is clear. So we just decided, look, this is the future. We'll need better lenses, so we'll use it in our future products, and that's why we did that investment. And we want to support the guys to, these lenses are not only meant for us. They will license those lenses to any producer who is interested and who wants to talk to them. But we saw that we want to utilize those lenses in a special way. So next X-Style will utilize the human FOV lenses. We will utilize also those lenses. So it just makes our products better in the future.
Nice. That's going to be very exciting.
Looking forward to it.
Yes. So just one thing that I want to quickly talk about before we wrap up here. Here I see the specs of the Somnium VR1, and it says like wireless PC VR streaming. Yes, available in the future, but how is that supposed to work?
Yeah, that's if you know the company called Nofio, they released and they announced, I think they ran a Kickstarter
for the Index.
They announced this wireless model, Wi-Fi 6E model for Valve Index. But we also work with them to make it work with X-Style and Somnium VR1, and it does work with X-Style already. We showcased that on CS.
Okay, cool.
And I think Brad did a video on that, and he tried it, and it worked quite well. And the same thing we would bring to Somnium VR1.
Okay.
And that's why, if you go back to the images, that's one of the things which we did change, and we did kind of really put a lot of effort.
One?
If you take this cable image where the cable is, so
Where
the
is
cable is quite a special beast because the lower one, this one, yeah. So you see the cable insert. So it's a detachable cable, which is though connected, and you can kind of put it with a screw. So you can screw it in, so it's it's not wobbly or anything else, but it's detachable. Because we give you, with the headset, we will give you 6-meter cable, which is very long cable to your computer. But when you have the wireless adapter in the future, you'll be able to unscrew the cable, detach it, and put the shorter one, 1-meter one, in there, connected to your Wi-Fi 6E battery pack and the module on your waist, like Apple does with the battery, and then you'll have wireless capability.
Cool. That was totally new to me, that you're going to do it like this.
But that will not be at launch, because we're also dependent on the Nofio timeline and timescale, and it will take time to work on this. And it's just, there's many things which needs to be polished for that, but definitely planned in the future. And that's why we did the cable detachable, but secured with the screw.
Great. You know what? I'm very much looking forward to the Somnium VR1. It looks super high quality. I totally like the looks of it and all the stuff that's inside. Can't wait to try it. Somnium VR1, obviously, I will feature it here on the channel extensively. Looking forward to that.
Made a huge splash on Twitter too. There was like, everyone was buzzing about him. Like, this is so great.
It's
Thanks
cool.
for the tag. I loved it.
I mean,
reading about
we
it.
feel the pressure. It's not I've told you, Sebastian, you want to talk about this, and I was a bit hesitant because we work so hard, and we can't wait to show all the things. We show what we can, and as soon as we get more information on anything, and obviously some things we keep for ourselves, like the price and exact availability, but we put heart and soul in this.
Great.
And, I'm in VR every day. I want a great headset. I obviously love Valve Index, and I want something which is feels like a next gen headset, but it's open, decentralized, and it's not committing you to some hidden licenses and all those things. You just buy the headset and it's yours, and you can create whatever you want, and we will not want anything from you ever again. So it's up to you what you do with that. And that's kind of the ethos of us, what we do. Many people don't agree with that in terms of like blockchain and stuff, but we believe in the decentralization. We believe into power to users rather than power to the companies.
Great. That is a wonderful last word. So actually, it looks fantastic for us VR fans. So many cool headsets are coming out, already came out, or will come out in the future. So there's really no lack of cool headsets. And with Apple, coming into the scene, everything is going to change. And I believe this was a fantastic show about the Apple headset and also about the Somnium One. If you outside there, the people who are watching this right now, or the people who are going to listen to it, if you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed this show as much as we obviously did, please let us know with a thumbs up. You can do that right now. And also with a comment. Leave a comment. How did you like today's show? How do you like the Next Dimension podcast, where we talk with people, amazing people from the industry like Artur, and where we really dig into the topics as deep as we did today with the Apple Vision Pro and the Somnium VR1. So do leave a comment, do leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify or wherever. And simply let the world know the Next Dimension podcast, yes, it's a very good podcast. Thank you so much, Artur, for being here so long and talking with us about it. Obviously, also thanks Tetiana for being here.
No, let's thank Tetiana that she's here with us. Come on.
Exactly. I just wanted to say thank you so much, Tetiana, for being here, even though, well, very soon you will,
have more things to do.
You will have more things to do, more important things to do than talking about a VR headset. So
new user for Somnium VR1.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
It's crazy. I'm gonna tell you, were born
Right,
the year Vision Pro and Somnium were
Wow.
released.
Wow.
Right.
Ooh, it's so old, so bad.
Yeah. What shall we say? Anyways, thanks again. Thanks for being here, and thanks for all of you outside there who are watching this right now, or who are going to listen to it later. That's everything that we have for this episode. It's a historic episode. We're going to listen to it later, and your baby in the future can listen to it. And
I know, right? Like
exactly. That's gonna be
2 weeks before.
Wow.
2 weeks before.
I was thinking about downloading this episode.
Yeah, you should do it. You should do it. Okay, and that's it for today. Looking forward to see you in the next episodes. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Okay, we're still live for a short moment. I know you have to go, Tetiana. So, so that's going to be the last time that we see each other before you give birth. So, I just want to wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
best.
It was
Yeah,
great. It was great being on the podcast. It was great talking to
Great
you,
to catch up.
Artur, and hearing your
Same
thoughts
here.
about.
I enjoyed it so much. Thank you for inviting me, Sebastian.
You're welcome.
Thank you for letting me be here with you guys.
That was great.
Yeah.
It just feels like we have so much chemistry, right? It's just like wow, it's so good. I love today's show.
Yeah,
Really loved
I was
it.
very happy.
was
Yeah,
fun.
I'm very happy with it too. I think, and I'm actually glad that I know we're 30 minutes over,
Yeah.
but I think we actually managed to cover everything.
Yeah,
And I
really.
was going into this show thinking for sure we will not talk about everything.
Yeah, but we
There's
did.
way too much.
Exactly, but we did. Okay,
It's way too important moment, to be honest.
Exactly.
Like, forget about Somnium VR1. Of course, I mean, for me, it's important, but like Apple thing is a very important moment, and it will change a lot of things. So makes sense that we talked about it as much as we did, because it's just such an important thing.
agreed. But now
Yeah.
let's go home and enjoy our evening or day. So that's everything we have. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.